What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Bare Minimum with Four Star Chicago Sports. Guys,
Bare
as you
minimum.
probably already know, most of you, I'm Brandon. That's Dustin. Dustin, what's going on, man?
Yo,
Yo,
feeling good.
guys,
Let's do it.
we got a big
We got
show tonight. Obviously, eventually, we want to land on the Cowboys Bears game, but we want to talk about Caleb Williams, guys. Probably
John.
pretty much every week for the rest of the season, we're going to be doing this, but our analysis and perspective of how the media perceives, how the fan base perceives, and how we perceive Caleb Williams, guys, all that and more after this.
Bizzo.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
What's going on?
What's going on? Once again, guys, thanks for joining us for another edition of the Bare Minimum. Yeah, like I said, we want to start and focus mostly on, I think, Caleb Williams. And Dustin, I know you got some stats, but I just want to say this. After as poorly as that football game went, and I know I touched on this on Monday, that ass whooping that we just received by the Lions, I did think that there was progression in Caleb, and I thought he looked best, Dustin, when he played within the structure, which
Yeah,
is
man. I mean, that's the
obviously
perspective
probably
that
how it's
needs.
going to go. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the perspective that needs to be lent here when it comes to how you're evaluating what Caleb is doing in a brand new offense with limited time. And we're 2 weeks in. Do you see improvement? I mean, and it feels trivial. It feels kind of making excuses for a guy who was drafted number one overall. But I said after week 1, man, I saw a lot of the same mistakes we saw from Caleb last year, and he looked like a
Yeah, we
rookie.
certainly did. We
Yeah,
certainly did.
he looked like a rookie again, and he got outplayed by a guy who I don't think is very good, in JJ McCarthy, in the second half of that game, and it cost the Bears, man. He missed some throws that he should have made, some easy throws, some throws that could have would have won you the game.
Yeah.
You saw it better the next week in terms of working within the structure. That's going to be the key for Caleb's development. That's going to be the key for the Chicago Bears offense. And you got to see it getting better every week. And by the middle of this season, by the time November rolls around, we need to see Caleb firing on all cylinders, or we're going to have major questions to answer. And we've been talking about that for a while, man. So, it's not just about the stats, it's about the eye test too. It's about what you're seeing. It's about how Caleb is handling himself. It's about the body language. We're watching everything on Caleb, and the media certainly is as well. So it's like he's under a magnascope here, and everybody's going through his stuff with a fine tooth comb. But it is important to lend some perspective. And I thought the best perspective would be with these second year quarterbacks, man. I mean, I don't know what you think of that, but and what else you have to add in terms of what we saw
Well,
from Caleb on
I, th-
Sunday. But I
I
was happy
think
with how he played in a lot of ways, man.
I think I would preach patience because the improvements and progression that I saw from week 2 to week 1 were very minimal. They were small things, but they matter. And I think that might be the progression that Caleb Williams, the trajectory of progression that Caleb Williams is on for the foreseeable future. I think he might make small strides each week, but I don't know if you're going to see a finished Caleb Williams, Dustin, with Ben Johnson in this offense, even by the end of this season. I don't.
I
I don't
can't
know.
I can't get on board with that, Brandon. I think we need to, and not
No,
finish, but
I agree, but
we need to
I
see
I also
you
don't know. I also
the
know that
traits that he was drafted for.
if he is progressing all the way till the end of the season, I would imagine that Ben Johnson wants to keep moving forward with the Caleb Williams project, and he'll probably only get better with Ben Johnson. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
progression will
no, for
continue
sure. And
well
then
beyond the end of this year.
Ben
You
Johnson
know?
will be able to add more to the offensive game plan and trust Caleb more to execute things. What I get concerned about is when you give it the put the ball in your guy's hands on fourth down and trust him, and then he doesn't come through for you. How do you keep calling that if you're Ben Johnson? He's got to be thinking about, I got to pull some things way back here in order just to develop that trust and get him going to where
What's
I
up,
can
Amos?
feel confident calling that play and know we're going to execute it. Because if you don't get it, it just puts you in such a bad spot. We saw those fourth downs with the against the Minnesota Vikings when he missed DJ Moore and he should have hit him way earlier with that pass, and with those QB sneaks where he didn't, that wasn't executed properly by Caleb Williams in my mind, and Ben Johnson was clearly frustrated with him. Like the coach has to trust the player
Yeah, and
to
rightfully so.
execute in those. Yeah, it has to happen. So like I agree, it's going to take some time, and you're going to see small things happening week to week. But we also need to see somewhat of a finished product this season when we're talking about the number one overall quarterback drafted in a class of really good quarterbacks, and you're talking about the number one offensive guy in terms of coaches that were available in the NFL over the last few years. We got to see more than what we're seeing, Brandon. That's for sure. And
Yeah, I
sooner
mean,
rather.
I think this offense is going to have to be what carries this football team if they want to win any football games, Dustin. And I think, listen, we'll just take playoffs off the table, hypothetically right now.
I
You
never had
just,
it on the
you
table,
just,
to be
you
honest,
just
but
want to, you
I
just
hope.
want to win some football games. There's no other way to say it. Like you just want to win football games this season, no matter what the result is beyond that. Just win football games because there's no way that if
Quarterback to help you
Ryan,
do
if you're 4 and something at the end of this season, I don't know that somebody doesn't need to be held accountable for that and shouldn't work for this organization anymore, Dustin. Honestly, if this fails again, has Ryan Poles done a good enough job of putting talent on this football team where he
It
should
depends
sustain
on how
another?
you define failure, I guess. If you're the Chicago Bears, what were their expectations for themselves coming into this season? I think they were pretty high. I think when you hear Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams talk about Caleb completing at a 70% clip and throwing for 4,000 yards and these goals that we've set, those are going to equate to some wins. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it does need to get better. But my my biggest concern is can Caleb get on the same page with Ben Johnson? When you hear Ben Johnson talking about Caleb's, production on the field, there's a lot to be desired there, and you'll hear him say it like we gotta get our eyes in the right place. We gotta get to the right spot. Ben Johnson needs Caleb to be an extension of him. He literally uses that terminology very intentionally in my mind because Caleb and Ben Johnson need to have the same eyes, the same brain, and that arm needs to do the work of those eyes and that brain. So Ben Johnson has this task in front of him of getting Caleb to think like him and to see what he sees when he's drawing up these plays and calling them on the field. And I think there's a big disconnect there right now, and that's what's concerning to me because I feel like that has been and should have been the main thing they were working on all offseason, getting Caleb to play in time and within the structure of Ben Johnson's offense. And Caleb falls back on hero ball too much. He did it a lot less in this last game, but he's still doing it too much. That interception he threw was inexcusable. He's got to be better there. Fucking put the ball out of bounds, move on to the next play, man. That, to me. We got a new person in
Yeah,
here. Real quick, who's this? No Nami. What's this thing? No Manami. Jesus
Nomi
Christ, man.
Nomi.
Could you Nomi? Is that a thing?
No.
I don't know. Well, listen, I
Thanks for
gotta give
being
him a
here, man.
clap because
Yeah.
he is here. He decided to join us on
11:01.
Thursday
That's what I'm
night.
gonna call you. No, no, man. Oh my. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, let's stop. Let's just stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dustin, I think a
Anyways,
guy like Ben Johnson is what
not a
makes
fan of Ryan Poles.
a guy like Ben Johnson is what makes every good quarterback great. And I think this Bears fan base is just dying to see Caleb be good. You know what I mean? Before we worry
Yeah.
about what these two could potentially be, what the ceiling is for Caleb and Ben. You just want to see right now that they're playing competitive football. Like even if their defense is getting run over, and I don't know about 50 points, I mean within reason. A 30-point game allowed by the defense. You want this offense to be competing with these NFL teams. You want to be in these games at the end. And right now, they're just getting their ass kicked, dude. And the Vikings game, I just thought the response was bad. I thought the response to the missed field goal from that moment on was just bad all around, top to bottom.
Before we get it, I mean, that's an adversity topic. I think we can get into that because we were talking about how the Bears were going to respond to that under Ben Johnson versus how they responded to it under Matt Eberflus all off season. But you said something there about Caleb, because we're talking about Caleb, that I think is important, man. Like, we need to just see that he's good. And the reason is because as long as we don't see that, the possibility that he's bad still exists.
Well, no, I think that's kind of
that's the scariest thing.
Yeah,
about
that's
this
what I'm
whole
saying, Dustin. Is
process.
if you don't see that, then it's not. He could be bad. If you don't see that he's good, he is. He's bad. He's a bad football player, and that's what I mean.
Yeah,
the Bears
and that goes
fan
back
base,
to Ryan Poles' process
Bears
and
fan
how
base,
he got to this point. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and the Bears fan base just wants to feel like he's good, so they can be relieved. You know what I mean? Because that's
It's
the
going to
fine
be a
line we're all
load-off.
walking right now. I told you, Dustin. I haven't reevaluated Caleb's ceiling, the ceiling I projected before the season started, but I have begun to reevaluate his floor, and that is frightening. And that's the line we're walking. I just want to see him take command of the offense and play good enough.
To me, that's the key, man. And I've been saying that all offseason. I think a lot of people have. Can you just make the right decision in the moment? You know, he was getting to more reads. Ben Johnson called that out later reads into his progressions. So that's a good thing. His feet were better. I mean, there were positives. But again, if you're going to fall back on hero ball as much as he does with, a left tackle that's letting up a lot of pressure, man, like, it's going to lead to bad things for you. He's got to get that ball out quick. And I think a big part of that also comes to how Ben Johnson schemes this thing. Like, can we get first reads open quickly and hammer it home to Caleb? Get rid of the fucking ball. I don't want him getting to a third or fourth read when Braxton Jones is getting put on his ass every other play, dude. Get to the first, second read and get the ball out, man. Just keep the sticks moving. That's really what I want to see Caleb doing.
Somebody shared us a graph, and it was every team in the NFL showed a picture of the quarterback, but it was just every team the most efficient. They were ranked most efficiently by pass protection, and that had to do with time to throw. There was multiple things that played into it, but the Bears were really high in time to throw, which, like, I don't agree with. I don't understand how these PFF stats work, man.
Well, Caleb creates a lot of time, Brandon, with his feet.
Yeah,
he's spending a lot of time moving around.
Do you think it means
pocket.
outside the pocket as well? I think it means
time to throw. Well, I didn't see this graph, so you do this a lot.
The Bears, I think, were
bring up things without context.
The Bears were ranked like 9th. The Bears were ranked like 9th in pass protection.
Okay. So, I mean, and again, it's not like it's been awful, but Braxton Jones has been awful. And when you see Caleb holding onto the ball for that long, the longer he holds onto it, you just know something bad is going to happen. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's my point, Dustin, is they had the 9th longest time to throw, which insinuates to me that Ben Johnson is not doing enough. We haven't seen enough, which I was saying, of the snap and throw. Like, I want the Bears' time to throw to be really low. I want Caleb to get the fucking ball out of his hands, man.
That's where you start to wonder: is that an effect of Caleb Williams, or is Ben Johnson saying that? Like, I want that, and Caleb Williams is working outside of that. That first week against Minnesota, I felt like that's what Caleb was doing.
I don't know, because
he did a lot of moving around just to throw the ball to his check down. Caleb Williams did that a lot in that first week. It's like you could have hit that way sooner and just got the play going. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that, I remember that pass he made to Colston Loveland that was a little behind Colston Loveland. He moved around an awful lot.
That was a great catch.
But it was unnecessarily difficult, is my point.
Yeah.
Didn't get the throw out. And again, when the left tackle is allowing as much pressure as he is, and also from the inside, Jonathan Allen and Hargraves just kind of destroyed that revamped interior offensive line of the Bears.
We got a new person in the chat, I think, here.
So, like, all I'm saying is, like, Caleb seems to make things more difficult than they need to be.
Yeah, I think
we're not in the offensive room. We're not watching these guys. So maybe Caleb is doing what's being asked of him. But I think it just needs to be quicker. It needs to be more decisive, and you just got to be smart with the football, man, and get rid of that damn thing and get it in your playmakers' hands.
I've said this
Sex
before.
Machine.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I've said this before, man. I think well, go. You can go ahead and
Come
read his
on, Sex
comment.
Machine.
Yeah, I think this is our first Sex Machine. I believe this is the first time you've joined us for a show. I don't believe I've seen his name before. Dustin, I think I'd remember it. That's
And that's where that comes from. So
that's for you, man.
listen, there was a throw in the comments that I wanted to get to.
Go ahead.
Well, this one right here is interesting too. He said, Nomanami says he has time to throw. He's not seeing the field clearly. It takes time, but the most concerning thing is the inaccuracies. Is that me or you?
It's you.
Yeah.
There you go. Sex Machine.
It's the inaccuracy.
A few extra.
And missing wide open receivers. The completion percentage is concerning. The inaccuracy is definitely concerning. That when you have easy layup throws and you need to hit them to get your team in a position to score some points, Caleb has not been doing it, man. Yeah, that is a concern when you see a receiver. And we talked about this a lot too, like having to see the receiver to make the throw. You saw more anticipation on this past Sunday as well, I thought, Brandon, especially when it came to him throwing it to Rome Odunze. That's the way I saw that game. He was definitely throwing with more anticipation than he did in week one. But like, if you got to see it to throw it, you're going to be too late. And Caleb's got to get better at that, and that will help his accuracy. That was a big concern of mine this offseason.
In regards to what we were talking about before, I did want to say this. I've talked about this for a while. I think he's been behind such bad protection for so many years now, Dustin. It's his
He's got
default.
another newbie.
It's his True Pilgrim. What's going
True
on,
Pilgrim.
brother? Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like for us if you can.
Just ride while Brandon talks the whole time.
He's played outside of structure for so long, man. I think that's his default. I think
True Pilgrim, thank you for being here.
That one was for me.
You're a true hero. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Brandon. I'm throwing you off a little bit there.
I mean, I said what I said.
Okay, this is the comment I want to get to. John S. says, Poles is awful. Bears roster is awful. He can't be trusted with another draft. I understand the frustration, John, but I can't call this last draft awful until I see the people you drafted actually getting involved on the field. I got to see what Luther Burden can do. I got to see what Colston Loveland can do. When you talk about Ozzie Trapillo and Shamara Turner being healthy scratches, that is very concerning. But honestly, if Loveland and Burden are even half of what I think they are, then this draft is going to be pretty damn good in my mind. I got to see these guys get involved in the game to judge it. But yeah, like if you see that these draft picks that they made this year are not impacting winning football games or being in them or being competitive, like it makes you wonder, should we let Poles run another draft? And we've been asking that question every goddamn season since he took over this job. So I'm with you, John. It's a problem for sure. The chat is keeping it moving here, man. We appreciate it. Melon Smasher in here as well.
Dude, in regards to what we were talking about, well, I guess I'll touch on this first then, man. I still want to finish some things about Caleb, but yeah, with Ben Johnson, man, I'm gonna go ahead and knock him. Like I don't think this is somewhere it's like, well, he's using his method of how he kind of rolls a rookie or how he gets a rookie involved. Well, like you took a guy top 10. He's got to be on the field, man. I mean, all the other teams in the NFL. I mean, maybe you could say Colston Loveland was injured and missed most of the offseason, and that's why it's they're kind of slowly rolling him into this, but they were kind of praising him on how healthy and fit and good a condition he was in after his recovery. So like he should be on the field. And that's a knock against Ben Johnson. That is already something I will call a mistake on Ben Johnson's behalf. How do you feel about that, Dustin?
I think it's a big problem. I mean, he created a situation here too where fans can now question his judgment in terms of talent evaluation because Tyler Warren was the clear better prospect. There was no doubt about that. Tyler Warren was the most pro-ready prospect at that position, and it wasn't really close. Tyler Warren is now showing that already in his two games in the NFL, making Daniel Jones look a lot better than he actually is. And that's a problem when Colston Loveland has 3 targets in 2 games. You drafted Colston Loveland over a guy that everybody knew was a better prospect now on the promise that this guy is in Colston Loveland is the mismatch nightmare that your offense needed. And then you just don't fucking use them. Again, what's happening in practice is not something we're privy to, but I'm doing everything I can to get that guy involved because if I envision my offense with this guy and that's what forced me to take him at 10 over a guy who was a better prospect, I, I got to get him involved, man. I got to get him
Well,
the
and
ball
and
to make sure that it helps my offense, grow and
when
get better.
we talked about this earn it mentality that Ben Johnson and his coaching staff have preached, man, that everybody on this football team's going to earn it. And I thought throughout the preseason, throughout camp, like they were really praising his work ethic. He was showing up
It's a
early.
good
You know
point,
what I
John.
mean? She would show up early, Dustin, sometimes stay late. He was a guy who thought like a quarterback. That's how far ahead he was mentally. Remember, you know what I mean? What bothers me about the rookies not playing, Dustin, is what we were told over the offseason is these
It's
guys
how good their
are
practice habits
impact
were,
guys.
how
They
good their
have
practice habits
worked
were,
their
how smart
tails
they
off.
were with how much
Yeah.
work ethic they have.
And like,
So that just went away.
where's the fruits of their labor? Where do they
Yeah.
get rewarded for the things they're doing? If you're talking about earning it,
That's a
man,
very
it's
good
like,
point. And then how does that impact team morale when guys are busting their ass and they're not getting those opportunities? Like you got to pay them off. You're right, 100%. Melon Smasher makes a damn good point here, and I agree with it 100%. I got to say, the Shamar Turner pick was weird to me. There were
I
there were
still
defensive
like the pick.
tackles that were better when he was drafted. Norman Lott, I thought, and Alexander, who went to the Giants, and then also Xavier Watts was the second best safety in this draft, second or third.
Andrew
And
Makuba.
Makuba was still out there, man. Like there was some Jack Sawyer showed himself to be a better player in college as well. I agree with you 100%,
But
Melon.
Shamar Turner hasn't. There's no verdict on
Again, we haven't seen him on the
yeah.
field
The kid
yet,
could
but
be a stud. We don't
but
know.
the
And
way you see Xavier Watts, getting an interception in a big game on Sunday night. You know what I'm
so did
saying?
Andrew Makuba.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's a disconnect there because the Bears right now, Kevin
this is what I
Byard
mean, man.
is playing bad football right now. And that he's at your safety position. And Jaquan Brisker is not very good in coverage, and we all knew that. And he's being used in an incorrect way. You could have used guys like this that could have impacted your team more immediately than a guy than Shamar Turner, who's a healthy scratch. That is a problem. It's not good optics at the very least. I'm not saying I'm selling out on Shamar Turner. I got to see the guy play. I got to see Colston Loveland play, man. I got to see him get intentionally involved in this offense if he is who you told me he was when you drafted him. I trusted Ben Johnson on that pick because I was told that Ben Johnson is this offensive genius, and I was told that Sean McVay wanted Colston Loveland. But would Sean McVay just not be using this fucking kid? If he drafted Loveland,
and
I don't know.
to Sean and Kyle's defense, the left tackle was in need, and turns out there's like 3 or 4 in this draft that look like they're going to be pretty quality players.
Yeah, there was all the concerns on the left tackle, man, and I mean, I didn't have the concerns about Will Campbell that people had, and I didn't have the concerns about Kelvin Banks that people had. These guys were studs all through their college careers.
Well,
You didn't have an opportunity at those guys. Josh
and-
Simmons was
and-
another guy that you
and
had an opportunity at, but John made that point. Drafting a tight end 10, does that make sense? It certainly doesn't make sense if you don't use the guy and if he's not serving the role that you drafted him to play. That's a big problem.
Well, and
then
you
when you take that
poorly,
into account that your left tackle position is such a shit show, it
yeah,
becomes doubly worse.
I think more so the time that Ben spent getting to know these players and watching the film of the Bears tape from recent years, because this is his roster now. How well did he understand them? How well did he evaluate them? Did he know how little talent he had? You know, what I mean, did he think this left tackle's good enough to win? I can win, and then I'm going to get this tight end, even though we're paying this one, and he's actually been serviceable throughout his career. And now the left tackle's a nightmare, man. I mean, Caleb's getting killed from that side.
And it is
for the
something that
first
can
2 years.
derail this season. And we talked about that, man. And everybody
Yeah.
talked about that. The
We
left
talked
tackle
about
position.
3 things that are very much rearing their ugly head, man. The pass rush, the backup running back,
power
position,
running back position,
and the uncertainty at the I mean, you got Caleb doing a QB sneak twice, as you mentioned. He's not good at it, and you saw that the first time. If you had a guy that can run for a fucking yard, that would have been resolved in that.
It's as if Caleb Williams has never practiced a QB sneak. That's how bad he was. like he had
This
never run it
this
before
really
in his
irks you,
life.
man.
It does. It bothers me how
Yeah, it was
he
bad. It was
stood
ugly.
straight
It was,
up and
and
then
that's
like
and
dove
that's
in.
just
Like it doesn't
another.
make sense. I've never seen a quarterback do
No,
that before.
it's a Bearsy thing. It's a
Mm.
Bearsy thing because you just don't see professional organizations do things like that.
And then you
So,
see, JJ McCarthy later on in that day,
well,
just he diving straight
well,
forward. Here,
while we're on Caleb, man, one thing
yeah,
I
we're
did
still
want to
talking
say
about
too,
Caleb.
that's
And the
starting
chat's
to.
really chiming in on Loveland and Warren. And True Pilgrim thinks Loveland is way more talented than Warren. I gotta see it. I gotta see that. I gotta see it on the field. Ben Johnson needs to make that happen. That has to happen. That's a non-negotiable. You drafted this guy number 10. He should be making an impact weekly. Period.
Yeah. And I think he's capable of it. I still, again, guys, there's no ceiling on any player here that you projected on these young guys that should change based on the first 2 weeks you've watched. Because a lot of people are talking like, we had a conversation on Monday on this show about is Colston Loveland not playing because he's just not good? That is not the answer to the question because every rookie on this team, even on the defensive side of the football, which is
Is not getting an opportunity.
coached by an entirely different guy,
And which is
are
a
not
fucking
on the
ass
field.
unit. The
They're
defense
not on the
sucks.
field.
The
Yeah.
defense needs more talent on the field. So if you
Yeah.
drafted a guy in the second round that you thought was talented, he needs to be playing. Grady
And you're
Jarrett looks
missing
slow.
and you're
He looks
missing
slow.
yeah, and you're missing Austin Booker. There's an injury there. So I mean, there's a lot of things warranting needing Shamar Turner more so than having the luxury of using him as a rookie. I think Dustin, if he were to actually come
I agree,
if he were to
Miller.
make an impact, he's a necessity. Let's say
Mhm.
Shamar Turner comes in and he's a good football player. Like you're like, damn man, this guy can get after the quarterback. He can set an edge. He can do. He needs to be on in the game. You know what I mean? That's the thing with these rookies is you're losing games poorly here. Has Cole Kmet made a major impact on the Bears loss column this
I
far
mean, he's made a
in two
major
weeks?
impact on the. I think Cole Kmet is holding Loveland back from being what Ben Johnson saw him
Well, and
being.
if Cole Kmet's not doing
Ben
good enough,
Johnson trusts
put
Cole
Loveland
Kmet
in the
more.
damn game. And Cole Kmet did make. I'm going to say this. He made an incredible catch this season. He
Shamar was
is.
hurt, yes.
Yeah. He's not. He
Yeah.
wasn't for this last football game. He was hurt.
He was hurt through the offseason and maybe they're still ramping him up, but like eventually we got to see this guy on the field. We're still talking about Caleb, and I want to go through these stats, Brandon, because
But
I
hold
think
on. What I wanted to say before you did that,
let's do it.
one thing that's starting to be a problem for me with Caleb Williams, and I know that he is one of the shorter guys in the NFL, man. He keeps his passes keep getting batted down. I mean, he's got like 4 or 5 this season. That's not super common when you're watching a football game to see 2 or 3 of those in a game. I don't know if that's something can be coached, something that needs. I don't
It
know
is.
how
It
it
is
impacts it,
because when you
but it's a
watch
problem. It
when
is a
you watched a
problem.
guy like Drew Brees, Brandon, I mean, that was something that he got better at as his career went on in terms of finding those passing lanes. He was one of the best at maneuvering in the pocket without ever getting outside of it and getting himself to a passing lane where his offensive line had kind of cleared a little space to have the line of vision to make the throw. And Caleb has to get better at that. He has to get better at keeping his feet underneath him and staying in the pocket. And to do that, he's got to feel comfortable in the pocket too. So the offensive line needs to hold up their end of the fucking bargain. It's not just one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the play calling. It's making sure he's getting rid of that ball fast. It's the offensive line holding up, and it's Caleb being smart and decisive with the football. That's all those things got to work together.
And I don't. That's another thing, Dustin, that bothers me about seeing the end result of Caleb Williams by this season. If this offensive line with Braxton Jones and right now Jonah Jackson too is not good enough, and I don't care what the numbers say, if PFF says they're this or that or ninth or whatever. My problem with them is you can really judge the Bears offensive line, Dustin, when you turn on a football game watching like a quality offensive line. When you're watching like the Philadelphia Eagles or even the Green Bay Packers this season. I watched them Thursday night last week. These quarterbacks are not pressured for 3 to 4 seconds, and they're able to sit there, sit back, make their reads, make their progressions. If it takes that for Caleb to be a good quarterback, then fucking get that, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's easier
Like,
said than done, though. At the
but no,
same time, I mean,
that's something Ben
mm,
Johnson you think would have been able to evaluate. That's what I'm saying. Like you took this tight end, you don't have the left tackle. maybe that's what Caleb needs. He just needs an NFL like
Well, it's
offensive line,
definitely what
which
he
we don't
needs.
have.
It's
We don't have.
well,
And Joe Tooney looks not the same to me so far. Dahlman's
he's
playing
got to step
poorly.
up.
Dahlman's
Dahlman's
playing
been
poorly,
bad.
but I think it's
Yeah.
because Jackson's so bad. I do think
Like he's trying to cover
I
up for his
yeah I
mistakes. Yeah.
I think Drew Dahlman's taken a lot of heat because of Jonah Jackson and those two. Dustin, I don't know if you notice, the nose tackle is a lot of times lined up in front of those two because the nose tackle's
Oh,
job
a
is to
lot
is
of pressure came right between those two in that first game, especially. In
well
that first game,
that's
especially.
that's what I mean. Jonah Jackson always seems to lose his place, which allows the player, there's a gap. And
Hmm.
I think Drew Dahlman is being graded poorly on PFF because they're both blocking nose
I
tackles
don't
together.
care about
Yeah.
PFF. I care about Caleb Williams staying upright, and they do got to get it fixed, Brandon.
Yeah, but this
100%.
line's not good. It's not good from right to left. I don't think Darnell Wright's been a top 10 pick. I think this entire offensive line needs work, man, and it might
And
just be
there's some perspective.
cohesion. It could
There's
be
some
just
perspective
cohesion.
because Caleb is gonna have a problem staying comfortable if they can't protect him for long enough. And he will revert to doing what Caleb does. That
Melon Smasher's not a Dahlman fan.
one of the weakest centers in football, he says. Jed is joining us. I'm usually
Tell you,
against
Melon, I
reactionary
don't like what
takes,
I see so
but I am
far.
skeptical on Dennis Allen holding up. If the defense doesn't turn it around, I bet he's replaced in this offseason. Bizzo Joe says Rams bench Jackson for a reason. True Pilgrim says Braxton is such a liability, though. He's crippling the line. Yeah, and I mean, our hope was that playing next to Tooney and improving the interior was going to, have an effect on those tackle positions. And you're seeing Darnell Wright hold up in pass coverage, but he's still got the pre-snap shit going on. He needs to fix that. You're seeing Braxton Jones allow 70% of the pressures that this offensive line has allowed up to this point. And you're seeing the interior between Jackson and Dahlman really get
I was just gonna say
made
you
really
Justin
get
just said
exploited.
you said you were hoping these tackles would get better and improve with the improvements they made in the interior line. The interior line still hasn't been good enough to hold up poor tackle play like Braxton Jones.
Well, that being
I mean, they
said,
got
it
to take
doesn't.
care of their job first.
That being said, it doesn't mean that they can't get better too.
No,
Joe Tooney
I
is
think
a
it's
pro.
cohesion.
He is a pro. Yeah,
I think they need
and
time to play
another week
together.
together. Another week together. Continue practicing. We got the coaching. We got the players. Like these guys need to execute the game plan. That's really what it comes down to. And this offensive line needs to give Caleb time to feel comfortable running Ben Johnson's offense and not running Caleb Williams' offense, which is run for my life and throw it outside of the pocket every time. Caleb will do that if he is not comfortable. And what that is a knock on him, and it has been. And that's one of his deficiencies. So other guys got to step up to help him improve in that area. In my mind, it's not just on one person.
Well, yeah, and when Caleb does get out of the pocket and
I wanted Paris Johnson, Melon
make
Smasher. Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
stud.
yeah. No, I mean, Wright was a right tackle. Like that pick was just. It wasn't a good pick to me. It never will be. Even if Wright is a solid right tackle, I need Wright to be a top 2-3 right tackle in the NFL for the majority of his career to justify taking him in the top 10. I've been saying that, man. We've been saying that.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of Caleb, I want to go through the stats so far of these second-year quarterbacks. That was a really strong draft class.
Oh, well, hold on. You said people need to help Caleb as well as the offensive line, man. I think Rome Odunze dropping those when he is getting out of the pocket and making plays. These guys can't be dropping passes. And I know Rome's young, but that has started to develop. That's started to develop as an issue for Rome Odunze.
Listen, the best receivers all have drops. CeeDee Lamb had some big drops in that first week. He's still fucking CeeDee Lamb. Malik Neighbors, I was watching Red Zone, and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. both had awful drops at the same time.
I don't. You're saying that like that impedes.
It does, but like he also had 7 catches for 129 yards or whatever it was and 2 touchdowns. So I'll take a couple of drops for my number one receiver to get that many opportunities. You're going to get targeted, but
no, there's no way.
He's going to get better.
Rome won't average a few drops per game.
No, he won't. But I'm just saying, even if he were to, if he's putting up those numbers, I'm going to be okay with that because
I don't know. I
more
disagree
often
with
than
that
not,
argument,
he's
man.
making
Drops are one of the
plays.
things you look back on when you lose football games. I'm
Yeah, but Rome Odunze's
not in
drops
agreement with
didn't
that.
listen. One drop he had, Caleb threw it into him in triple coverage, and he got smashed as he was trying to high point the ball. I
Yeah,
don't know how the
no, well,
ball
not
even
even.
got
He
into
got
his
the
hands.
ball got a player put their hand on the ball. Like
Okay, yeah,
it was a good play.
that was a bad throw that he shouldn't have made in the first place. That Rome almost turned into a hell of a catch. Go
Yeah,
up, go back and
and I
watch it.
think Rome
I'm
can.
not putting that drop
I
on
think
Rome.
Rome can do that. I think he can make that catch.
Hey, we got a new guy in the chat. This is Danny's Dallas
That's like
Cowboys,
4,
Lakers.
man.
Let's go. Yeah,
Oh, boy.
man. We appreciate you being here. You like teams that I can't stand, but I'm happy you're here.
What's going on, man?
We're excited to see what happens this Sunday. And yeah, that Cowboys defense is pretty fucking bad. This Bears defense is pretty fucking bad.
Jedediah says he doesn't agree with him, man. He says, exactly, he's still CeeDee Lamb. There's a reason Dallas doesn't win when it matters.
CeeDee Lamb is one of the
I
best
don't know.
receivers in football, man. I'm not putting Dallas losing. I'm on CeeDee Lamb, dude. I'm not.
Well, you just put a team losing on the mistakes they made. It's like errors in baseball, Dustin. Those are things you look back on. Fumbles, dropped passes, interceptions, negative sacks. Those are the things you look back on and you're like, man, that one play changed a drive. You know what I
Bro,
mean?
we're gonna talk about Rome. We're gonna talk about Rome. Hey, all I'm saying is that one of those 3 drops I really don't put on Rome, and good receivers are gonna have drops from time to time.
One of those 3 drops.
That's not what's killing Caleb
And he had
Williams.
well, listen, yeah, okay, we'll talk about Rome, but I agree that people need to help Caleb out, man, for sure. I mean, like, he's obviously the multiplier. He's supposed to make the guys around him better, but he can't do that if they're not executing their roles. So it needs to change. The offensive line, Dustin, needs to no longer be a conversation for any Ryan Poles football teams moving forward, man. Or
I mean,
there's where
I
else do
don't.
you look?
That's a weird statement to make because this offensive line is the one that we have. They got to get better. That's really what it comes down
That's
to.
what
They
I
put
mean. Like we need to see. I'm giving him time, like I am the rest of the team, but we need to see a good product on the field, man.
Yeah. Caleb needs to help Caleb out. I think Caleb is his own worst enemy, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm not absolving Caleb
I,
Williams of any responsibility at all.
He makes mistakes
The
trying to
routine
win
throws.
the game with one throw, bro.
But I
You
do
can't
want to
keep
say
doing
this
that.
because we did this on Monday and we kind of beat him up. And I do want to say this. He still does things that leads me to believe he could be one of the best in this league. He does, Dustin. That pass to Roma Dunze that was a few inches behind, I think it was a safety coming across the other side of the field, opposite of Roma Dunze.
When he led him and Rome laid out
he
for
put
it,
him right on the numbers, and you just don't see a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL make throws like those on the move back. Cross platform. It's just he's got talents that
I think Jed
I
lost because CeeDee Lamb cooked him in a fantasy matchup or something. He's got some major hate.
still
for
shitting on
Lamb.
Lamb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a Thursday night football game.
Bro, I didn't watch it. I didn't want to. I was at work, but like,
yeah.
I
Well,
normally
the Dolphins suck. The Bills are good.
The Dolphins
There's a
are an awful
recap.
team.
Yeah.
I picked them to win 4 games.
Josh Allen's
Brandon, how many
incredible.
games did you pick the Dolphins to win?
4.
I picked the Dolphins to win 4 games. They're 0-3. I mean, it's lining up pretty perfectly for that to come true. James Cook is a stud. He's on my fantasy team. I'm happy about that. But yeah, I don't give a shit about that game, to be honest. That we kind of knew how that was going to go. I based one of my employees at work asked me. Go ahead.
Justin, this chat right here is a good segue for what you're about to lay down.
And Melon Smasher says Jaden Daniels has 40 total touchdowns and 22 starts, including playoffs. Took a 4-win team to 15-7 record, 33 passing touchdowns, 7 rush touchdowns. Nothing tells me Caleb is good. And Jed says the only motivation he has to shit on CeeDee Lamb is fuck Dallas. Okay, listen, I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a top 3 receiver in the NFL.
I like CeeDee Lamb.
I think he could be the best receiver in the NFL. This guy, the one thing CeeDee Lamb does not get enough credit for is how well he blocks.
He also seems like a likable individual.
But on the Jaden Daniels topic, Melon Smasher brought it up, and True Pilgrim here is saying Caleb is truly special. I'm baffled why some Bears fans hate him because he's not Justin Fields. True Pilgrim, that's why. But I wanted to go.
Spawns from.
Yeah, I wanted to go through the stats of these second-year quarterbacks that were drafted in the same draft as Caleb. Caleb was drafted number 1 overall, obviously.
Okay, this is just a troll account or something, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. He's in here. It is what it is. Don't show his chats. Say something besides what you're saying, Danny. Dallas Cowboys, Lakers.
I think it's a bot, man. I don't think.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. If it is, my first time on here, guys. See, he ain't a fucking bot.
Well,
Brandon. Appreciate you, man. We're happy you're here. We're gonna talk Bears Cowboys. We're gonna talk Bears Cowboys in a little bit. If you got anything you want to say, we'll read it, as long as it's not the same thing over and over again. Again, on to these stats.
Conversations.
Starting with JJ McCarthy. I'm just gonna go through some key stats here.
Real quick,
I'm just kidding. Shut the fuck up, Brandon. God damn it. All right, JJ McCarthy, 58.5% completion, 7.3 yards per attempt, 301 yards. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating is 67.2. That's JJ McCarthy through the first 2 games of this season, and he's going to be out for a little bit, right? Bo Nix, 67% completion, 5.5 yards per attempt, 382 yards. Yeah, 5.5. That's rough. 382 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, that 82 rating. Bo Nix in his second year in the Sean Payton offense. Bo Nix, who had a really good rookie year last year and was supposed to be doing better as he got into his second year in the same offense. Jaden Daniels, your guy, Melon Smasher, check this shit out. His completion percentage this year so far, 59.7%. That's some Anthony Richardson shit right there. Actually, it's a little better than Anthony Richardson, but it's still not.
He's like 9%
below 60% right now.
There's nobody as bad as Anthony Richardson.
6.0 yards per attempt, 433 yards. He's got the 3 touchdowns. He's got no interceptions. He's really smart with the ball. I love Jaden Daniels, but he's not having the greatest year so far. His rating is a 90.8. His quarterback rating. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Michael Penix, 63.5% completion. 6.9 yards per attempt. So far, the highest yards per attempt. We know he likes to throw the deep ball. 433 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 88.9 rating. That's Michael Penix up to this point.
He's going to be a good player, man.
I like him. I like that Falcons team.
Those left-handed gunslingers, man, they're always they're fun to watch.
Drake May. This one, I mean, Drake May is kind of killing it, man. I did not like Drake May coming out of that draft, but I was fucking wrong the way it's looking. 71% completion percentage, 7.5 yards per attempt, 517 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 100.9 rating. So he's leading all these second-year quarterbacks in completion percentage, yards per attempt, yards, touchdowns. He's behind Bo Nix and quarterback rating. Now here's Caleb Williams' stats, okay? 61.5% completion percentage. Brandon, that needs to get better. That's what we're talking about. His accuracy has been an issue. 61.5%, and those batted balls that you were talking about. And these are things that need to get better for Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams talked about a 70% completion goal for this guy. He's well short of that right now. That has to get better. 6.4 yards per attempt. I thought this would be in the 7 range in a Ben Johnson offense. We saw the big plays in preseason. We saw how he was scheming.
That number will increase throughout.
That needs to increase, and I think it will too. And I saw a stat that the Bears are like 3rd in the league in big plays so far this season. Just throwing that out there. It's going to improve. I believe that as well, Brandon. 417 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 89.1 rating. So he's got the second best quarterback rating of these quarterbacks. He's got the 4th most yards. He's tied for 2nd most touchdowns. He's got the 1 interception. His yards per attempt is better than Jaden Daniels. Is better than Bo Nix. And his completion percentage leaves a lot to be desired. There's some good and some bad here with Caleb when you're comparing him to the guys that the Bears could have drafted.
And he's been running the ball effectively too, Dustin. Don't leave that out. I mean, I know you don't want to go through all the rushing stats of every quarterback.
If you got them, throw out Caleb's, please.
I would imagine Caleb's somewhere near the top of all those young guys that we talked about from last year.
A lot of times he's running for his life, but you wanted to see that more from Caleb. Pressure the defense, stress the defense with your ability to run and and especially in third and fourth down situations where he has an option to pass or throw. That's where Jaden Daniels was so special last year. And I believe Caleb is capable of doing something very similar. And that's something Ben Johnson needs to unlock in this offense more so, in my mind, as well. And yes, stats don't lead to wins in most cases, but it is important to point out that as a quarterback has solid stats, generally the offense is performing, which gives you a better chance to win. And it also is important to point out that Caleb's stats stacked up against the guys that he was drafted with are comparable in a lot of ways and better than some in a lot of ways as well. So, I mean, it's not all just bad is the point that I'm making. If you're making winning plays, your stats will show it as a quarterback
Well,
9 times out of 10, especially in today's NFL. If you're talking about Trent Dilfer, I mean, that's a completely different football game we're talking
well,
about.
a touchdown is a stat, and
Touchdowns win
that's a
football
stat.
games
It's a
because,
stat
like,
that's
yeah,
a
as you
stat that
stack
wins.
those up,
That's a
yeah,
stat that
yeah,
wins games. I mean,
yeah.
so
Listen, I'm not just a stat head here. I'm just throwing these stats out here for perspective in terms of Caleb's performance versus the other guys in that draft class. And as you can see, it stacks up pretty well. And the thing about perspective here, our perspective,
I
is
know,
that
I know you said most cases.
these numbers we do expect to get better as Caleb continues to learn this offense.
Yeah, as
The
they already
sky is
have.
falling on Caleb, but his numbers are pretty solid in his first 2 games in a brand new offense against 2 really good fucking teams, guys. The Vikings won 14 games last year. The Lions won 15. These are 2 of the best head coaches in the NFL. So a couple really good defensive coordinators. I really like Kelvin Shepard, man. He took over for Aaron Glenn, and that Lions defense, it looks pretty solid. It looked
Looks
pretty damn
better,
solid against the Bears. Yeah. And I mean, obviously,
but they're healthy.
Flores is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. So it's not like Caleb was playing scrubs. It's not like the Bears were playing scrubs. They were playing some really good fucking teams, despite the fact that I think the Vikings quarterback sucks ass. But that's besides the point, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's going to be a problem for them all year. That's going to be the story of that team, I think,
Oh
this
yeah,
season.
Wentz is gonna not be better than JJ McCarthy. I don't think. I mean, KOC has worked wonders at the quarterback position. I don't see it with Carson Wentz. That will be
Yeah,
the
it's a
Achilles heel of
stretch.
that team all year. Yeah.
It's a stretch, no doubt
Yeah.
about that.
So I mean, listen, the Bears are 0-2. Caleb has made some mistakes. We saw improvement from week 1 to week 2. We saw improvement in the offense's output. We're seeing things that are progress. And that is important when you have a rookie head coach and a quarterback who's in his second year learning a brand new system. Those things are important to point out for perspective, Brandon.
Yeah, and
Exactly, James.
I think that's a good segue, Dustin. How does Ben Johnson fix what's going on with this football team? And I think it starts with obviously making Caleb the best player he can be within the system that you've created around him, because they said they catered this to him. So to see Caleb thrive would probably mean success for the Bears, but defensively,
That
Dustin,
works both ways between Ben
I
and
don't.
Caleb.
With that, I think the only thing that makes you better defensively is health. I don't know
Well, here's the
if
question:
there's.
how does Ben Johnson help fix that defense? I mean, here's we just went into a game against Ben Johnson's former team, the offense that he coached for years. You would hope he'd have some insights into these players' strengths. At the end of the day, those players were just better than the Bears players, and they made plays. But the quarterback completed fucking 80% of his passes and never got touched, never got blown on, never got a breeze by him besides the sack the Sweat got that got called back. So I mean, like, how much can Ben Johnson help Dennis Allen fix this defense if you don't have the players, if your guys are hurt, and Ben Johnson is an offensive coordinator who just became a head coach. Dennis Allen is supposed to be the guy that carries this thing. Dennis Allen was a
Yeah,
former head coach,
yeah. I was
defensive
just gonna say Dennis
specialist.
Allen's
Dennis Allen is the
a
guy
head
that needs
coach
to
that
do
became a
that.
defensive coordinator. Yeah, and I don't know that there's. I just don't know that there are any band-aids, Dustin, that can fix what's going on with that defense without Kyler Gordon, without Edwards, without Johnson. You're just missing. You just don't have the talent. And I talked about this all off season. I did, and a lot of people wanted to see the Bears go heavy in the offseason and on offense, go heavy in the draft on offense, and they did, and
I would have loved a pass
they're
rusher and a safety in this
they're reap
draft, man.
they're
We kept
reaping what
saying
they
that.
sowed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, there were
yeah.
guys available that we both liked. Kyle liked, was it Sawyer? Is that the kid's name from Ohio State? And then
Yeah, who Melon Smasher has brought up a few
yeah,
times in this
and
chat
then
already. Yep.
me and you, obviously, there's a couple of players I liked in that draft, but Xavier Watts was one of them for sure. Makuba was one of them for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
these are guys who are making impact on their football teams right now. So, and Trapillo, our a second round pick, isn't playing, and Turner's not playing, and Loveland's not playing. So, I mean, I think that's another thing Ben Johnson could do to fix this thing is put the players that he picked for this football team on the field. You know that
Let's
there are things that he wanted to use in his, like you said, Colston
let's
Loveland
not be
hasn't.
all over the place. Are we talking offense or are we talking defense? I want to let me
Well, I'm
get
just
back to
doing
it.
Ben fixing the
Okay,
problems.
yeah, for let's one thing at a time though. Let's really dive into it. Melon Smasher says, I think we are all coming to terms that there is a bunch of rot. It's well said, I think.
Yeah,
Ben
this
has
is a
an
good
uphill
comment. Yeah.
Ben has an uphill battle. Who is the locker room leader trying to help rebuild this shit slash loser culture Poles and Flus created? It's got to be Ben Johnson, and
It's
that's
Ben Johnson. Yeah,
about he's got to rise
there's
above
no
that
there's no
toxicity. And
acceptable answer
and
other
I
than
gotta say, like my biggest concern with putting a rookie head coach in this position was that rot and toxicity that has been in Hollis Hall for years. That's why a Vrabel made sense to me because I thought he could overcome that a lot quicker. Now, Ben Johnson, we're in this for the long haul, and he's got to figure out how to be that leader and overcome some bad mistakes that have been made in the past that are still biting you right now. So I agree with you, Melon, but it's got to be Ben Johnson.
yeah, like I said, there's no other acceptable answer to that question. Ben Johnson was the guy that I mean, that's his job.
Yep,
The
that's him.
culture is on Ben Johnson. All the other coaches and all the experience they have, he's the person that needs to dictate the culture on this football team. None of those guys can. I mean, Ben Johnson's got to. If this guy's going to be a long tenured coach for the Chicago Bears and successful, which obviously one can only be without the other, but he's going to have to create a culture, a winning culture, Dustin, that exists beyond him.
Well,
I mean, that's what.
before
And
winning, it's just competition and accountability and discipline.
well, no,
Ain't it?
I'm talking like the rot, man. The just changing the culture within the
Yeah,
Chicago Bears
that starts
organization.
with the processes, man. And that
Yeah.
starts with accountability, discipline, and just having a competitive edge. I texted you guys before that Lions game. The Lions are
Well,
coming out knowing that if they lose this game, they have an 11.5% chance of making the playoffs. The Lions are going to come out like it's a fucking playoff game. And if the Bears don't match their intensity, they're going to lose by double digits. And that's what happened. The Lions knew exactly what was on the line. The Bears fucking played around with it. And the Lions
well,
beat the shit out of them.
yeah.
That was pretty easy to predict if you did not come out to match their level of intensity and competitiveness, man. And the Bears did not, Brandon. The Bears did
No,
not.
and I think Ben Johnson
That's
said
coaching.
earlier this week, I believe yesterday, that this team needs to practice harder. So I mean,
Yeah, the practice habits he says he's not a fan of in certain
it's not a
aspects.
championship team.
Okay, so
So I mean,
who's that fall on?
no, that's what I'm about. Ben Johnson needs to resolve that. That needs
Yes.
to be like, we can't hear about competition and earning things and then hear at the same time the football team's not practicing in a winning fashion. So
Let's go back to the defense for a second because the Dolphins players called out the Bears defense saying that they were on some fake tough guy shit in that joint practice, that they were hitting when like the Bears came out with all this intensity, the defense, and we were all like super stoked about it. And the Dolphins, who are a shitty team, and they sounded like whiners, let's just be real, but maybe there was something to that. Maybe this team was punching above its weight in situations where the intensity wasn't really meant to be there. And now that the intensity is there, and then you got some players, some leaders on that defense that are going down with injuries, this defense is falling flat on its face. And I guess my question to you, Brandon, is how bad is this defense actually without Jalen Johnson, without Kyler Gordon, without TJ Edwards, both of those guys did not practice today. Jalen Johnson looks like he's done for the season
I would
by all
I would
accounts.
have
How bad is this defense, Brandon?
I would have to say that they're one of the
How
worst
bad can it actually
defenses
be?
in football, Dustin. They can't seem to stop the run all that well. They can't defend the pass at all. They get beat over the top, big plays all day, and the two guys that you pay the most are not the players that you expected them to be. You paid
Did they allow
projection
10
and
plays of
not.
20 plus yards? Is that what they is was that 10
I
plays of
don't. I
20
don't know
plus
the
yards in
number,
that
but I
Lions
mean,
game?
watching it, it was like, oh well. Here's whenever Jared threw, whenever Goff just went back to throw it up like a deep one, I was like, well, that's a catch. But I mean, the two guys you pay the most appear to just not be the guys you projected them to be, and I think you paid them both on projection, not necessarily on production. Tremaine
Montez
Edmonds
Sweat and
and
Tremaine
Montez
Edmonds.
Sweat
Yeah.
are not pulling even close to the weight that those guys like those should be. And you want to talk about leadership, Dustin, when the guys who are supposed to be the best just in performance strictly aren't doing their job all that well, that will impact
Sets a bad
every player
precedent.
on this
It sets
football
a
team.
bad precedent. Yeah. I mean, and Ben Johnson said it. Like, it's not like Montez Sweat is getting a lot of one-on-one action, but when he is getting it, he's not beating his man. He's not beating the one man. And Ben Johnson says that that's what the coaches are mainly focusing on with him. When you get that opportunity, you got to take advantage of it, and you got to get in that fucking quarterback's face. He can't. He's not beating the man across from him. Double teams, triple teams, that's a different thing. But like, you got to impact the game if you're that guy, if you're paid to be that guy. And that's where it all starts with this pass rush. If Montez Sweat can't live up to that billing, then this fucking defense is done in terms of a pass rush. It's not happening. I don't care if you add Austin Booker to this defense, a healthy
Well,
Austin Booker. It's
Tremaine
not changing. It's
and
not.
Tremaine Edmonds is getting paid what he's getting paid. And how many just wide gaps did you see running? Jameer Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. It seemed like every time they carried the ball was like 9 yards. Where's our middle linebacker, man? I mean,
Yeah.
it's this guy. He just gets blocked off the play anytime somebody gets to the second level, man. It could be a tight end.
Jervon Dexter was a guy I expected to have a really good game against Detroit, and he was a no-show. He was a no-show. He just didn't do anything to impact that game. And I'm expecting big things from Jervon Dexter, but where was he at? We needed to see him impact that game, especially against some younger, inexperienced players in the middle of that Detroit offensive line. I really expected him to exploit that, and he did not. And again, it was everybody in that game. When you have a game that bad, it's like, and Tyreek Stevenson, who Melon Smasher's throwing out right here, Poles traded up to pick 56 to get him, played the worst game that a cornerback can have in the NFL on Sunday. Like, I've never seen a cornerback have a worse. Every time the Lions were doing something, scoring in terms of getting the ball to receiver, it was like you saw Tyreek Stevenson in the background getting beat. Every fucking time he had the worst game.
He has allowed a
you could
perfect
imagine.
passer rating to opposing quarterbacks through 2 weeks of football.
And he's our number one cornerback now.
I mean, I would have
He's our
been
number one. Nashawn Wright is not McLeod. These guys are not supposed to be playing the amount of time that they're playing.
Jalen Jones is going to start to play some football on this team, I think. I haven't really seen him.
I liked that they went back and got him. I liked him on this team. He is a guy I would give an opportunity to, Brandon. That's a solution there. Dennis Allen should be looking into that. Who are the free agent cornerbacks that are out there? What can we do? Because
I think when you get Austin Booker and Kyler Gordon back, which should happen in week 6 after the bye, that tremendously helps your defense. I think Austin Booker is going to be an impact player. I do. I think when Austin Booker gets the one-on-one, Dustin, because
I love Austin
Sweat
Booker. I
gets
need to
the
see
double
him.
team, when Booker gets the one-on-one as opposed to Montez Sweat, he'll beat the guy across from him. That's what I think Booker's capable of doing. He's not a Myles Garrett. He's not going to run through 2 guys. He's not going to, he's not going to throw a tight end off him with an arm and then still barrel through somebody on the offensive line. But I think that when he's one-on-one, he's got enough finesse. He's got hands. He's the best pass rusher, I think, pure pass rusher on this football team. And I'll compare him to Montez Sweat.
I know. I think
Honestly.
Austin Booker can generate more pressure than Montez Sweat. I need to see him on the field, but
he's not a more developed player all around. But
but in terms of a speed and power combination, I love what he can bring to the table, and not having him is a big deal for sure. But it's like, you can't make these excuses. Montez Sweat is supposed to be carrying this fucking thing. Listen, free agent cornerbacks that are out there right now, just to throw some names out to you, they're not great. It's James Bradbury, Kendall Fuller,
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore,
Somebody just posted this all over. So
Michael
yeah,
Davis, Emmanuel
Asante
Mosley,
Samuel.
Corey Ballantyne. Yeah, Samuel is got the shoulder, so I mean, like that's why he's out there because he's a pretty solid cornerback. Antonio Hamilton, Troy Hill, Cameron Sutton. There's not a lot out there, but it's got to be something better than what we saw Tyreek put on the field. It's got to be something better than what we saw Nashawn Wright put on the field. Like
Yeah, you had
Jalen Jones should, like as you said, why isn't he getting opportunities? You've seen this guy play and hold his own against some good receivers for this Bears team just last year. Right? What do you got to lose at this point? You need Kyler Gordon back 100%.
you
You
just
need
allowed
TJ Edwards back.
6 passing touchdowns. I don't think you have too much to lose. I mean,
No,
you have a
mom.
guy that can deflect a touchdown pass.
Listen, me
Put
and
him on the field.
Brandon and I were just all over that Roquan thing. Poles got in his feelings in negotiations, and he made a stupid fucking decision. And then he went and paid Tremaine Edmonds basically the same he could have just paid Roquan
$500,000
Smith,
less
who was a
annually.
much better player. He put his team at a deficit with that move.
People and
I
to
won't
anyone who
stop
tells you
saying that because that's the truth.
and to anyone who tells you, oh, well, they got Edwards and Edmonds at the expense of not paying Roquan Smith. They could have paid Roquan and Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want to. Those
Yeah.
are the two guys that's the better of all three of those. You know what I mean? So like, yes, and guys, we just talked
Maybe
about Darnell.
Ben needs to start a
I don't want
penalties
to dive
jar. I like
don't want
that.
to dive down this rabbit hole, but we just talked about Darnell Wright. If you had Roquan Smith and Jalen Carter on this football team, I don't think your defense would be looking the way it is right now.
No, you'd at least have some
Those-
playmakers on that
Those
defense. Some
decisions
guys that
come
make a
back to
difference.
haunt you, man. When you think that you're the smartest person in the room. And
So defensively, we need to rely on Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is gonna need to get blitzes home. He's going to need to figure that out in order to get pressure because these guys are not beating their guys one-on-one. I mean, if you go back to that first half against Minnesota, against what is a revamped offensive line for them as well, the Bears were doing pretty solid at generating pressure, Brandon. But they had the backup left tackle there. No Darisaw was a big deal for the Vikings. The Bears exploited that mismatch. You got to find it in this game against the Cowboys. You got to find it in these games going forward. Where's that mismatch? How do you exploit it? Because that Dallas Cowboys offensive line is pretty fucking good, man. They just drafted Tyler Booker. I love that kid. Like it's gonna be tough sledding in that regard. Dak Prescott has had a pretty clean pocket throughout this season so far. But I mean, the Bears, in terms of generating pressure, Dennis Allen's got to get creative. He's got to start blitzing, but that's going to leave you vulnerable in a secondary that's depleted by injury. So what the fuck do you do? That's a catch-22, ain't it?
That's why I said, Dustin. I mean, I think you kind of. It's like in
You're
some
fucked.
sort of excuse. Health is the only repair.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen can't do. I don't know that Dennis Allen was going to have a very efficient. After watching this, I don't know how efficient the defense would have been with all of the players you need. I don't know that these players fit this game. I've suggested this in text to you guys quite frequently. I don't know that this roster build is what Dennis Allen needs to run his offense because these guys are. If you're talking about practicing hard, Dennis Allen's defense, Dustin, is extremely physical. They're physical at the line. Press man is the most physical that a corner can be in the NFL. I mean, he wants to stop. He no 100-yard rushers for however many games. He wants the gaps. So he wants to hit you at the line. Be aggressive. These guys just aren't showing that to me, and they didn't last season either. And we talked about when they quit, but I don't know how good they were to begin with. Everybody tells me about the first 6 weeks of last year where they were the top 10 defense. I mean that
they were playing some really bad
yes, and they
offenses,
weren't. They
bad
played Anthony
quarterbacks.
Richardson. That puts your ranking at like first place. If
They
you're playing
played Will Levis, and
Yeah.
then they played Anthony Richardson. They played some
Yeah,
really
and-
bad quarterbacks. They played Bryce Young when
and they
he was
were
about to
bad
get
for a
benched.
majority.
No, they
of
didn't. They
last
played
year.
Andy Dalton actually. Wasn't Andy Dalton the starter in that game for the
Yeah,
Panthers?
he was.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, like just quarterbacks that aren't very good in my mind. Like there was some fallacy there for sure. And you look at Matt Eberflus and what he's doing with that Dallas defense. It's not like I'm missing him. Like it's not, even if you made him a defensive coordinator with this roster, with the talent that we have or the lack thereof, there are major issues in terms of how this defense can just match up with a competent offense. When you throw in the
Yeah, and
injuries, goddamn, dude.
I want to say it again, man. It begs the question: how good were they? How good were they, and how good are they now? And that's why my concern, Dustin, is very much for the talent evaluation of this football team before you reach the draft. I mean, I thought this team needed defenders.
You
I
needed an edge rusher.
I thought they did a lot on the offensive line in the offseason. You know, I don't know that they needed to add Colston Lovin or Luther Burden or Ozzie Chappelle. I thought they needed defenders, and I think that's going to be the obvious problem with this team. Even if the offense does, if Ben and Caleb click and all things, this marriage works, all things
You're gonna need to
wonderful.
outscore teams.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I
need to
still don't
outscore
know
teams.
that they can win football game. This defense is. You asked me where I rank it. It's got to be last or somewhere near it.
So far, it's been the worst looking defense that's been
They
on the
allowed
field.
52 points. They're the worst defense in the NFL through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
And again, that Lions offense is a lot better than people wanted to give it credit for, just because they lost Ben Johnson. There's a lot of talent on that
Well, we'll
Lions
see.
offense.
We'll see. I'm not evaluating or analyzing the teams the Bears have played and using it as any kind of affirmation, man. I don't
Well,
know.
we can only look at the games that have been played. At the end of the day, in my mind, that Lions offense is a talented offense. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. You have Jameer Gibbs. You have David Montgomery. You got a quarterback
in the same breath,
competent in Jared Goff, man. They're gonna score
Listen,
on a lot of defenses.
I'm not trying to take anything away from any team, man. But in the same breath, you said you got to look at what we've done so far, and so far, JJ McCarthy got his ass kicked against another football team. And the
JJ
Lions,
McCarthy got his ass kicked against this Bears defense for 3 quarters, Brandon.
And the Lions didn't score a touchdown against the other team they played. And then they scored 52 again. They scored 6 in the air against the Bears.
Lions did score a touchdown. They did in that game.
Oh yeah, at the very end, sorry, Tesla, that miraculous catch.
Yeah.
That incredible catch.
It was a touchdown.
But
so listen,
and it was garbage time.
I guess we're saying that the defense is fucked and they're going to be really bad. And if some people come back and that can help a little bit, Kyler Gordon is going to help, obviously. This defense look better. TJ Edwards being out there is going to help. And Austin Booker being out there is going to help. But even them being added back into the fold does not make this a top half of the league defense in my mind, Brandon. I guess that's kind of where I'm going.
There's no world in which that happens.
And how does Ben fix this team? It's on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to have to outscore teams in order to win football games. And that's about tapping into your quarterback and using these rookies that you drafted with your first 2 picks because they can make an impact on the football field. I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Colston Lovin. We didn't even mention Luther Burden or Kyle Monangai.
Luther Burden had 12 snaps on Sunday.
And Kyle Monangai has 8 carries in 2 games.
Yeah, and DeAndre Swift is being used the same way he was being used last year, which is the incorrect
and you notice,
way. He is not a between the tackles.
No,
runner.
And when he went to the edge, he gained yards.
Made plays
almost every time. He gained yards, at least 5 to 6 yards. And when you ran him up the middle, it was a gain of 1.
I think he had one good run through the middle where he actually hit that hole real hard.
And there's one where he kind of bobbed and weaved, man, where he got a decent amount of yards. But it's just not. I don't know. It's not what Swift does well. He hasn't done it his entire career. And you had a guy last year in Roshan who's injured now, but was doing it well. Why not try the kid you drafted, who's a power back?
I think he'll be.
He's not a fast guy. I mean, what this is what this guy does. That's the only role he's going to serve in the NFL. Dustin, maybe pass catch.
I think you'll be surprised by some of these running statistics for the Bears up to this point, Brandon. So let me just read them off real quick. Their rush play percentage is 41.73. Obviously, when you're getting your ass kicked, you're not going to be running it very much like they were on Sunday. Their yards per rush is 4.8. That's 9th in the league. Rushes per game, 26.5. That's 11th in the league. Rush yards per game is 126.5. That's 12th in the league. Rush touchdowns, 1 per game. That's 8th in the league. I mean, are those stats surprising to you?
I mean, they don't mean anything through 2 weeks. One touchdown per game is 8th.
I mean, when you look at how they're running the ball, it doesn't feel touchdown? Yeah, no, it's for sure. But it's one touchdown per game. Yes, but
Yeah,
it's
but they're probably tied with like 14 football teams
my
now.
my point is though that their average per carry is actually a little higher than you would imagine having just watched the games. Like
Well, but
it
I
doesn't
said
look
this.
like they're moving the ball at a 5 yards per run
Well, and
clip.
because they don't run effectively. I said this to you all, you guys already on Monday. It doesn't matter how many yards you get per carry. If
If
when
there's
you
no,
need
yeah,
one, you can't achieve it, your run
and if
game's
there's
not
no
very
rhythm to the
effective.
run game, yeah, and if there's no rhythm to
You
the
know,
run game, if
right? If
it's
it's
not
not the play
setting
action's
something
not
else up,
working off,
yeah,
but most importantly, doesn't when you need one, you can't get it. Means no matter how
Caleb
many
does
yards
account for
you,
a good amount of that. Yes, John.
no matter how many, yeah, he does for sure with those rushing stats, without a doubt.
Hmm.
But no matter how many yards you run per carry,
Still
doesn't
helps,
you're not running effectively if you're not getting a first down when you need it running the football. And that's an
no
effective
doubt.
run
I
game
I agree with that, Brandon.
works on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And that's the Bears clearly didn't have the confidence or trust to do that. That's a problem.
Up to this point, Caleb has 11 carries for 85 yards, 7.7 yards per carry. He's got the one touchdown. So I mean, his yards per carry is definitely boosting that yards per carry. And then the other stat that's going around out there that's really a damning one is that the Chicago leads the league in yards before contact for a running back, but is last in the league in estimated per attempt at the running back position. So like the offensive line is creating the space for the running back, but the running back is not making good on it. That's a concern as well, Brandon.
Yeah, I think the running back in its entirety, man, is a problem. And I don't know if again, I mean, we're kind of this. I don't want to the as well as the defense. I don't know that you have a solution on this football team, Dustin. I said that before the season started. I think this it was a concern for me after I
What would
started
you
watching.
do if you were Ben Johnson to get this run game going, Brandon? What would you do?
I would use other players, but I would also just I mean the run game works very efficiently when you're passing the ball efficiently as well, Dustin. I mean, that's something that's just going to have to get fixed. They need to be able to move the chains passing the football as well
Mm-hmm.
because they're relying and I think 40% is actually kind of low for Ben Johnson. I think he's usually somewhere around a 50-50 split
Yeah,
run
yeah,
pass.
yeah.
So I mean, I would like to believe that if they're able to pass the ball a little more effectively, they can get that 10 extra, what is that, a few extra snaps per game, get that 10%, a little more balance in their offense. And I think Ben Johnson's just got to try to use the guy. Listen, I said this on the show last Thursday when you were just got to use what you got. Even if, even if you, I said this, even if you don't trust Monungai, and it's not a fumble thing, the guy like didn't fumble at all in college. It was he
Yeah,
set
it's
like a
it's
record.
not a thing he's
But
put on tape
yeah,
up to
even if
this
you didn't
point.
trust this guy was going to be effective as effective as you need him to be, the effect or impact he might have alone in spelling DeAndre Swift for a couple of plays a game,
Mhm.
man, might be the difference you need because DeAndre Swift is not
Swift,
only not a between the tackles runner, he is not a bell cow. He is not a
no,
3 down
but
back.
he is a game breaker, and he
Yeah.
will break some open if he's got the legs. If he's not getting beat up the entire game in a role that he's not meant to serve.
Yeah,
I
with a
agree with you
loaded
100%.
box.
You have to take that load off of his shoulders, and I think the key to that is Monungai. You want to throw Roshan Johnson out there? Please do.
Well, in passing,
Get somebody else involved in this running game and beat up that defensive line a little bit.
yeah,
That
and these
I think you have
defenses,
to do
Dustin,
that.
are just for the first 2 weeks, they're just loading the box.
Exactly, John.
I mean, these teams on defense are and I mean the second half of the Vikings game, he blitzed like 40%. I mean, they're getting in the backfield. It's DeAndre Swift is being contacted a lot, and he's not that guy. And I don't know that Monunga is, but you got to at least give it a shot. You have to,
That's
man.
what John S. thinks as well. That's what I would do. You have to
And
start
Roshan's not
giving
healthy,
these other
so
guys more. And he was well. Apparently, he was a healthy scratch. This like just basically. He was on the field, but he was basically he might as well have been inactive. They didn't use him, but he was healthy enough to be suited up, man. So
well,
what?
yeah, he played
So
on special teams.
yeah,
That's
he
right.
was out there. So why not use him? Why not? In that 3rd and 1 situation, Roshan at the very least has shown that he can do that. That he can get you a yard. Right? I mean, so utilize these guys. You have to establish a mentality of physicality. You have to in order to establish the play action, which will, in my mind, would and will be the key to Caleb Williams finding success in this offense, the play action. The play action is going to give him the time that he needs to make the right throw. Whether or not he can be accurate at that point, that becomes the next part of that discussion. How do you fix the accuracy issues with Caleb Williams? What is Ben Johnson doing with that? Are you really working on the timing of throws? Are you really trying to limit him to 1 to 2 reads? Are you trying to get the ball out quicker in short yardage situations and hoping that your playmakers can make something happen after the catch? Those are the things that we envisioned in terms of seeing this offense grow and function at a high caliber level, Brandon, when we were talking about this offense all offseason, right?
Yeah, I think I don't want to write that off. You know what I mean? I think that's the end goal still. I think the offense will progress as the season goes on. As like we said, I just don't know. I don't know what peak they reach, and the defense is what it is, Dustin. I think health is the answer. But yeah, Ben Johnson was supposed to be. I mean, we were supposed to be a modern NFL offense, man. It still doesn't. And you can throw. I know people are like, oh, they've scored 24 points, or whatever it is. You can throw that at me, but they haven't been effective, and they've fallen out of games twice now. I mean, so I want to see Ben Johnson, even if Caleb struggles, I want to see Ben Johnson be a little
Scatterbo.
innovative with the tools he has at his disposal, Dustin. And that means Colston Loveland, that means Luther Burden, that means DeAndre Swift, that means Kyle Monangai, that means you've got to use these players. And you know what? We were worried about when we're talking about the run game, we were worried about predictability. So I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, Roshan Johnson comes in for his very first run of the season on a 3rd and 1. The defense will probably expect that this ball is going to be handed. You can use that
So
to
fucking well,
you can use
so
that as
fucking
well.
what?
Well, and if you don't, if this team's getting beat on the line like they are in regards to physicality,
Throw the play action at him and
yeah,
beat him over the
yeah,
top.
yeah, throw
I
that
mean, I
ball.
think Ben
I want to
Johnson
see Ben
clearly
be able to beat.
understands these
Listen,
concepts, man.
Justin, I want to see Ben beat the guy across from him like he'd been doing his whole career.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Listen, fuck Scatterbo. I'll just say that. I don't want any part of Cam Scatterbo. I not a thank you, True Pilgrim, for saying that. Melton Smasher, I get it. He won Offensive Rookie of the Week in week 2, but like I don't care. That was against the Cowboys defense that hopefully Ben Johnson can get this run game going. We got to get into that game. I wanted to, I mean, Melon Smasher brought up Jared Verse a little bit. Jared Verse was my guy that I wanted the Bears to go after in that draft. So I'm with Melon Smasher there. The Bears opted to go with Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze just had a hell of a game. Hey, caught 2 touchdowns. He had a very strong stat line, and he showed why the Bears drafted him in the top 10. You talked about the drops. That's something he needs to fix. I'm not trying to obfuscate his responsibility there. Like he needs to make those catches. But at the end of the day, I think Rome showed why he was drafted in the top 10. And I think you can see that from Rome every week. And if you do see that from Rome every week, that will only benefit Caleb. I think Rome might be the best player on this Bears defense at their position. That's how good I think Rome, offense, defense, whatever, the best player at their respective position on this Bears team. And this guy needs the ball out. I think we can see this guy being in that top 15, top 20 receivers in the NFL throughout this season. And that's going to be huge for Caleb because Rome is his guy when Caleb has things break down. Rome is the guy that always finds his way to Caleb when shit doesn't go the way you want it to. And shit has not been going the way the Bears want it to. So, I mean, Rome has that. Rome has the ability to win contested catches. Rome has the ability to beat a guy off the line and be that first read. I am very high on Rome, and I have been, since they drafted him. Yes, I would have loved Jared Verse, but if Rome turns into that guy that we saw on Sunday consistently this season, Brandon, does it eliminate that thought of, well, we should have had Jared Verse for you if he is just the best skill player on this team, period, end of story?
Well, I always thought Rome would and could be. I honestly did. I mean, I expect him to be somewhere near the top of the league, like you said. And I don't think that I don't regret picking Rome because we didn't get Verse, but you would have been happy with Jared Verse and he would have been making an impact on this football team, an impact in a way that no other player on this team seems to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I'd be upset if we drafted Jared Verse, but no, I'm not. I don't feel regret about drafting Rome Odunze, and I think he is going to be that guy. I think Caleb and him will grow together, and most good quarterbacks have a guy like that. I think it is important. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way to quantify how valuable that is, but I do think it's important.
Just that give
And
a look and we know what we're
and
doing thing. Yeah.
he is, to me, Dustin, already the best receiver on this football team.
Yes,
He
100.
is.
He is the wide receiver one
He
on this
is.
team. We've been saying that all
Like I
off.
said, DJ
Yeah,
Moore,
that's
I don't
what's
want to call him
playing
a
out on the
gadget
field.
guy, but he has a set of skills that you can use in a variation of ways, but he's not just your true
Man
wide
beater.
out,
Yeah.
outside the numbers,
Yeah.
wide out. He's not. And Roma Dunze is that guy. And I think he's going to be one of the better guys in the league at that. And I think Caleb will continue to depend on Roma Dunze heavily, Dustin. I don't think you're going to see the target. The target share is crazy right now. I don't think you're going to see that change anytime soon. I don't.
And all I wanted to say with that is that we continue to knock Ryan Poles for draft decisions, and rightfully so. He's made some shitty ones. They've been pointed out throughout this chat. Me and Brandon have pointed them out for a couple of years now. Not necessarily always on on a podcast. We have a lot of conversations about the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles, and we've been perplexed by a lot of decisions that he has made. But Roma Dunze seems like the real fucking deal, guys. So, like, how long can we hold on to, well, that should have been Jared Verse if Roma Dunze is cooking his man every fucking game and getting 10, 12 targets and coming down with 8, 9 catches and kind of just,
Getting the ball in the
dominating
end
that wide
zone, man.
receiver position. If he is the best player on your team at his position, was that a bad draft pick? I don't think so. I think he was the best player on the Bears board, and I think there's a good reason for that because he's a damn good player and he's got a goddamn
Yeah, and
good
I
work
and
ethic.
and
And like you said, his connection with Caleb is the key there.
and Vizzo Joe, I would make a case that he
Kind of already
already
has.
has that ability. He has that
Mm-hmm.
ability. I mean, if the Bears are in a shootout, Rome's going to be that guy that's getting, trading touchdowns with whatever player it is on the opposing team.
True Pilgrim brought up that passing on Ollie Gordon pissed him off. Yeah, Ollie Gordon had a touchdown tonight too for the Dolphins.
Yeah, he
Ollie
looks he looks
That's a
he
guy
looks
that
good.
Sean was beating the table for. He liked a lot in the draft process. I remember. I mean, yeah, would that have been a better pick than Kyle Monunga? I guess we can go through and debate that. I mean, I don't remember exactly. I know he was a 6th or 7th round pick, so like it was in that same area. But I mean, the
Well, I
Bears'
want to
run
say
game is
this,
a
man, because
problem.
we got
That
into
we
this
know
on
that.
Monday, and I want to say this. For those who say, and I've heard this from a lot more sources than just here at Four Stars, for those who say these guys aren't good enough to play, that's why they're not on the field. It's not the case. It's the approach with every single rookie on this team. Some of them are ready to play some NFL football. That's not the way this coaching staff wants to. That's not how they want to handle it.
You,
And I,
yeah. You know what it reminds me of, Brandon? Tom Thibodeau with the Bulls. Remember how he was with rookies? Like, just remember how like
a
he
lot of
made
coaches in Chicago, man. A lot of
a
coaches in
lot of coaches
Chicago.
in general kind of like try to put the rookies through the fire, but it's like the talent level, the talent disparity between Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet in my mind is such a wide gap that it's kind of criminal to not have Colston Loveland just being the guy that's out there all the time. To me. To me. Now I could be wrong. Ben Johnson trusts his vets. That's what a young coach should probably do. But what do you got to fucking lose, man? Get this guy out there and let his talent just win matchups. Because one thing this Bears team is lacking in right now is talent that outmatches the player across from them. I think Colston Loveland is a player that gives you an advantage in that regard. So you got to get him on the fucking field.
Yeah, I agree. And we can't like I wanted to say this. We can't analyze these rookies. We can't say they're just not good. That's why you can't say a player is or isn't good until we watch them play.
They have no opportunities.
You have
It's
to.
tough to grade
If
them.
we watched Kyle Monunga get the bulk of the carries for the last 2 games, 20 carries per game for 31 yards, he
or
sucks. He
or
probably
even
sucks.
12 or even 12 carries, even 12, like just some consistent thing that kind of gets him in a rhythm and helps this offense get into a rhythm, and you see him not delivering. That's one thing, like you're saying, Brandon. But if you just see him randomly getting carries here and there in no rhythm in terms of how the offense is choosing to run the football, like how can you judge him on that?
And he gets wide open on a crow route on a big third, on a big second down. Sorry, this is the one where Caleb ended up having to try third and fourth to sneaks. He threw a pass. Monangai got wide open for a first down catch, and it got tipped at the line. And then
Mhm.
they put Monangai in the backfield just to watch Caleb run the ball. It just I don't like the way, like I said, it doesn't feel like there's any reward towards what we heard about these guys in
Yes,
the off
John.
season,
Yes.
Dustin. That's what I want to say. That's the thing that I want to kind of like
Hammer
focus on
home.
when it comes
Yeah.
with these rookies is you tell us all off season how good these guys are and how
How
much
hard they're
trust how
working.
much trust they've earned with the coaches and how
How
much they've
smart
paid
they are.
attention. And this guy, oh, he's really he shows up early, and then this guy, he's got a notebook and he's always standing in
Colston
front.
Loveland, like you
Yeah,
said, that was the Ben Johnson quote. Colston
yeah.
Loveland is like a quarterback at his position. He knows what every position is doing. He is that into the playbook and that knowledgeable.
And then Kyle Monangai gets open for a first down, and it's almost the message is relayed on the field as well. You don't get rewarded. I mean, this is the one thing about Ben Johnson that's flabbergasted me. I used the same word last week, man. I don't get it. You drafted this guy top 10. You drafted Luther Bird in the second round. You've talked about he's made an impact in the preseason. I thought he was an incredible player, Dustin,
His
from
route
top to
running,
fucking
his
bottom. I thought he
blocking.
blocked incredibly
Yeah.
well, and the
Yeah.
Bears haven't been doing that very good. So,
No.
like, I would
DJ
love,
Moore is not blocking very
yeah,
well in
I
the
would
run
love to
game.
see Luther Burden on the field, even if he's
Rome
not getting the
Dunze is
football.
not blocking very well in the run game. What
Kyle
what do you
Monangai
have to lose? What do you have to
Kyle
lose?
Monangai made a huge block in the Viking, and I think it was the Vikings game. He made a huge block, a pass protection block where he got
Kyle
kind of got killed.
Monungai can't be worse at pass protection than DeAndre Swift.
So, but
Like,
when he puts
that's
his
one
body on the
thing I'll
line out
say for
there to
sure.
protect Caleb, your quarterback, give the guy
Reward
some
him.
carries.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I don't like this method. It doesn't. It does. I think that he'll regret once these rookies start to get out there and get opportunities, and I think they'll prove to be impactful. And I think Ben Johnson will think to himself,
I should have done this earlier.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is, like I said,
And
this is a knock against Ben Johnson for me, guys, because I think it will prove to be a mistake. I think it absolutely will, and I think he'll know it. He'll
yeah,
know it's something he
and,
shouldn't.
and maybe and you would imagine that Ben Johnson is smart enough to learn from it and not make that mistake again. The point I want to make about Colston Loveland is comparing him to Tyler Warren is completely unfair when you're talking about the disparity in targets between them, the disparity in opportunities. You got to give Colston Loveland an opportunity. I think if you flip those guys in their situations, you'd be seeing the exact same thing, just
You'll be
on
seeing
different
Tyler Warren
teams.
sit on a
You'd be
bench.
seeing Tyler Warren not getting the opportunities. You'd be seeing Colston Loveland needing to be the guy in that offense that Daniel Jones uses as his outlet, as his my
Yeah,
pressure
and
release.
gets 90% of
Yeah,
snap share as
yeah,
a rookie.
yeah, man.
What
So
rookie?
you can't
What rookie
compare
gets
those two right now.
90% of his snap share, dude?
Yeah,
Tyler
I mean, a
Warren is
really good one.
playing
Tyler
the
Warren is
most
really good.
football besides Cam Ward. He's playing the most football as a rookie in the NFL right now.
Tyler Warren is a really good player, Brandon. We all knew that.
Yeah.
It was a surprise that the Bears went Loveland over him. But to say that Loveland is taking him over Warren was a mistake, you could be right. You might be right. The odds are you're right. But like, how can you know if Colston Loveland is not getting opportunities? You can't do much with 3 targets as a pass catching tight end. As John points out right here, Loveland creates matchup issues for the other team. That's why Johnson wanted him. So fucking let him loose and let him do it. Let him be that red zone threat. He should be out there every time Caleb has an opportunity in the red zone because he can become Caleb's best friend in those situations because of those matchup issues.
Yeah. I think if you want to dive into Dallas here, man, I think this is a good game to get him started. Honestly, I would like to see the rookie usage change as of this week, Dustin, without a doubt. I think, and like I said, I think Ben Johnson will realize there was a mistake in the first place. But I think Colston Loveland can make an impact against this Dallas team, man.
Melon, I never said that Loveland was more of a matchup issue. I'm saying that that's the reason that Ben Johnson drafted him, because of his ability to create those mismatches for the defense, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not the guy who drafted. If it were me, I probably would have taken Warren over Loveland. We're supposed to trust Ben Johnson. He's supposed to be that guy. Ben Johnson drafts this guy over the best player at the position and then just doesn't get him involved in his offense. As Brandon said, that's a knock against Ben Johnson, and he needs to rectify that.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
think
I'm
it's
saying.
fair. I think it's fair to say that this is the one thing we can already be critical over Ben Johnson. That this is a mistake. It's a mistake to not utilize these guys. It's a mistake. Every other team in the NFL is using their high draft picks in some capacity or another.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these are the guys Ben Johnson felt his offense. These are his guys. He needed them in his offense. We need to see him play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And this team is not proving like there's too much talent for these guys to not get opportunities, Dustin. It doesn't look that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They need
man.
some help. They need some spark. They need some fire. They need some young guys in there who are
Uh
hungry
huh.
for
Yeah.
snaps. You're talking about practicing to not practicing hard enough. You want these young kids are hungry for some action in the NFL, man. They want to play. Let these kids play. It might be the
And let them
difference.
learn. They're gonna make some mistakes. You got to live with it. That's just you. That's the deal you make when you take guys like that high, when you could have taken guys at other positions of bigger need. You drafted those guys because you believe that their talent superseded the position that you needed to address. So get them on the fucking field. You know, that's that's all I'll say about that. Let's get into this Cowboys game, man. It's going to be interesting this Sunday. The late start, which is kind of cool. I'm actually going to be off for that game, so I'm excited about that. I'll be able to watch, all the way through. Cowboys coming into Chicago, man. Cowboys defense is putrid. Matt Eberflus run defense. They are allowing a
They've allowed
whopping
12
39
receptions.
and a half points per game. 12 receptions. Go ahead, Brandon.
The tight ends in 2 games. They have an average of 6 receptions per game for the tight ends playing against the Dallas Cowboys.
And so
I
this is
think
where
this is
Colston
where
Loveland comes
Colston
in.
Loveland needs to be an
Hmm.
impact on this football
Yes,
team.
and the reality is it can be Cole Kmet too. I think the 12 personnel was greatly overhyped compared to what we've seen so far in terms of how Ben Johnson likes to utilize that, and what I envision being a real matchup nightmare for defenses not being taken advantage of. I mean, Ben said that they went into that Minnesota game knowing the tight ends weren't going to be involved. They wanted to keep them in the block to protect Caleb, to help with blocking the run game. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like if you're running that
No, they
12,
need to be involved.
yes, I feel like if you got a tight end that you're paying 50 million over 5 years, and you got a tight end you just drafted 10 overall, the focus of your offense should be in running that 12 personnel and utilizing it to exploit matchup weaknesses in the defense, because that's what we've been told all offseason. We have not
and we
seen it
and
yet.
we and
And like you
we
said, this is a
we
good get right
we
spot for
watched
that
it.
against the Cowboys
We watched it against the
in
Bills
the
in the
in the
preseason.
preseason game.
I
Yeah.
mean, it looked like if that game was any indication, I was thinking to myself, I allowed myself to think, is Caleb going to get more receptions from the tight ends this season than his wide receivers, man? I mean, I was like, man, this is working. This is crazy. Like these guys really are too much. It's a handful, and they're not even on the field. I mean, I saw Smythe more. That's aggravating. Like, why, man? I don't get
For his
it.
blocking, man, and, and
And
and and the blocking is important, Brandon, and Colston Loveland. Maybe that's where he needs to step up in terms of his practice habits, in terms of making himself, a more available and a better blocker, because that's what's going to lend itself to, the defense believing that you could be running when you're creating that mismatch opportunity in the passing game because of the 12 personnel you're using. So, um, I don't know, man. It makes sense that this be a get right game for these tight ends, for both of them. Get them both out there, get them both involved in this passing game. That can be Caleb's best friend. It really can. And like you said, like we were saying earlier in the chat, man, like, I think you can see both tight ends on either. I think Jake Ferguson can really exploit this Bears defense, these linebackers. I really do. I think you're going to see that be an important part for both offenses going into this game, man. You just hope that the Bears, come out on the better end of it in terms of their production.
I do think this. I think this tandem of wide receivers is going to torch this Bears team.
I mean, yeah, I guess we can talk about that as much as we don't want to. Fucking CeeDee Lamb and George
you
Pickens
mentioned Ferguson, and he's not the guy. The Bears have played pretty good coverage over tight ends so far this year. The receivers that have played the Bears have just obliterated them, and we're about to play a pretty good tandem, man. So, like, either one of these guys can probably beat any one of the corners on this football team.
Yeah, no, I mean, any of the corners.
Dak can air it out when he
it
gets
doesn't matter. I don't think it's gonna matter who you put on either one of those receivers, because
if
the secondary is just so bad.
Tyreek comfortable, he's gonna torch you.
It's really disappointing that Tyreek has been so bad, man. He was one guy that I thought might actually fit this Dennis Allen defense, and he was one guy that seemed excited about the opportunity to just play a receiver one-on-one and live or die with how that works out. But he's just getting killed. He's not punching back at all. He is just getting his ass kicked. And that's concerning when he's the number one cornerback on your team, Brandon. And so, yeah, these guys are going to kind of dominate the secondary. I don't see how they don't, unless you find a way to generate immense pressure, which you have not been able to do. The pressure is the only thing that helps the secondary in terms of Pickens and Lamb and Dak Prescott destroying this Bears team. Right? And I read this stat wrong. The Bears allowing the 39.5, the Cowboys allowing 30.5. Yeah, they're allowing a combined 70 points per game.
I think these teams are very comparable. They're very similar. They both have rookie head coaches. They both have defenses.
Have we seen this gentleman before, Solar?
I don't think so.
Solar, what's up, dude?
What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no, we love the new people checking in with us.
Shy-Tex is back.
Throw it out. Shy-Tex in the building. Solar, hit that like button if you haven't already, man. Hang with us.
The BS body language not picking up blocks.
What's that?
Says, what's the BS body language not picking up blocks?
With DJ Moore? I mean, yeah, and then we're getting like True Pilgrim says, what do you think we can get for DJ? And then Shy-Tex says, is trading DJ really a thing? Sorry, just joined, but I've seen these rumors elsewhere. We have not talked about it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying that. Like, if you can get a second round pick for DJ Moore, I might go do that. Just open it up for Rome and Luther Burden to take over, because those two are the future. I love DJ Moore, man. But yeah, when you talk about the body language, not picking up blocks, he's not looking good in that regard. When you hear Ben Johnson talking about practice habits, just your mind just goes there. And mine does a little bit, but I think DJ Moore has been a leader for this team, and I think he needs to get more involved in this offense. I would like to see him make more of a contribution, and I would like to see there be more intention in terms of getting him involved in advantageous situations. But if you can get, a solid second round pick for him, I would entertain that. I would totally entertain that, because that just makes sense to me when you got a guy like Luther Burton, who, as True Pilgrim points out, is an incredible route runner, has incredible after the catch abilities, has incredible speed, game breaking ability. I want to see this guy get on the field.
Blocks well.
I want to see this guy get on the field, man. So, like, again, I'm not calling for DJ Moore to be traded. You guys asked the question. Would I entertain it for a second round pick? Would you, Brandon?
Yeah, I think, I would. I mean, I think that's the event. I don't know what else happens with DJ Moore if he's not traded, and I didn't necessarily think this year would be when you'd pull that trigger.
Yeah, same here.
This team just keeps looking the way it is.
Why not add some draft capital?
And
get DJ Moore somewhere where he can actually compete, maybe.
How else does this end?
Yeah, I mean, you're paying the guy already. You're going to eventually have to pay Rome. I mean, you got Luther Burden on a rookie contract. It's a
Do you
fully
want
guaranteed.
DJ Moore to just walk away from this football team when his contract is up? I
I
mean,
am always a proponent of getting something back for a guy versus letting him walk. And that's the
Cole,
same conversation we had about Cole Kmet.
Cole
Yeah.
Kmet, he's still on that. I mean, I think Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. So we got some headlines or deadlines I want to get to, man, and some of this stuff we've been kind of.
Is that around this Bears Cowboys game? Are they around that?
No, it's just
Okay.
league
Well,
league
we're
round.
still talking the Bears Cowboys here. We
No,
haven't.
for sure. I don't want to beat up a subject too much that's going to come up later. But yeah, no, I think what I was saying, man, is I think these two teams are very comparable. I do. They both have rookie head coaches. They both have defenses that can't really cover and can't get any pass rush. So I mean, it's going to be on these offenses for sure. And Dak is obviously probably a little bit ahead of Caleb Williams and his understanding of the offense he's in. So I mean, this Caleb's going to have to turn it
Dak
on
is
in
a
this
damn
football.
good quarterback. He gets disrespected an awful lot, and Solar's a Cowboys fan, so I'm sure he'll like hearing that. I got Dak. I'm starting Dak Prescott on my fantasy team this week against the Bears, and I expect him to have a lot of points because this Bears secondary is ass right now, and we can't pressure the
So
quarterback.
is the pass
And
rush
that Cowboys
is the key
offensive
thing.
line, as I said, I love what they've done with that offensive line. So, and I don't know who breaks first in turn. That's what it comes down to for me. Like, because you watch that Cowboys Giants game, and that was a hell of a game. But like the Cowboys scored with what 58 seconds left, and you were like, this game's over. And then they just let the one guy who can beat them run right down the field and get a moon ball thrown to him by Russell Wilson. Like you knew that was the one thing you couldn't allow to have happen. And then you allowed that to happen, and then you end up in overtime. Like the Cowboys are really bad on defense, guys, and I thought they were really bad against the Eagles in that first half as well. Um, the second half was a very weird thing, in terms of that delay in that game, and the offense is just kind of fizzled out. But this Cowboys defense is here to be gotten. They're coming to Chicago to be gotten. You're going to have to get them more than that Cowboys offense gets you, because both these defenses are fucking bad. You're going to have to outscore the Cowboys and hopefully be the last person with the ball. That's what it's going to come down to for me, Brennan. I think both these defenses, can you get one good stand? I don't know. Do you expect either defense to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean,
Shut up, Jed.
I think they're gonna. Yeah, I saw that. I think they're gonna go back and forth. I think Ben, this is the week in which your offense is going to. You weren't going to keep up with that Detroit
It's a
team,
good point, Shy-Tex.
and you lost the game on defense on that Minnesota game. I mean, when you have a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter and you lose, your defense lets you down. And that Lions game, you didn't stand a chance. If you're going to stand a chance in this Cowboys game, Dustin, you're going to have to trade shots with these guys. You're going to have to score points consistently. Can't do it on the first drive. Listen, another thing that I wanted to talk about, man, is do you think like the first drive seems to be so successful for this Bears team and then it just falls apart? Is this, the 15 play script? I mean, beyond that, is Ben Johnson just getting beat from the guy across from him? And
Well,
and can we look forward to better things with Flus and Schottenheimer across?
I mean, I like that coaching matchup a lot more for Ben Johnson than I like him against two of the best coaches in the NFL in my mind, KOC and Dan Campbell. And again, I don't know how much of it is adjustments versus execution. I think the players need to execute what Ben Johnson's throwing out there. You got to execute a fucking QB sneak on third and short. You have to execute that and then just move on to the next play. You can't let that become now we got to go for it on fourth down and hopefully we get it here. Like the players have to execute at the end of the day, Brandon. I don't know how much Johnson is getting out coached, but if you're talking about going against those two guys, yeah, they out coached him. Will Schottenheimer and Eberflus? No, I don't think so. There was that report that that Eberflus is in meetings with the offense. Good. I hope that they're listening to Matt Eberflus all the way this entire week, because that'll be really good for the Bears, because Matt Eberflus had no idea what he had in this team when he was coaching it, guys. He had no fucking idea. That we all know that. We watched. So yes, let Matt Eberflus give them all the insider tricks. We saw how that worked out for the Bears and Ben Johnson this past Sunday.
I've created the pass principle. Get the fuck out of here.
Go sit in the fucking corner, Matt Eberflus.
Why is he in here? Who do you know here? I think the Bears are gonna, like I
I
said,
know Jack Sanborn.
these two teams are very, very comparable, Dustin. Very comparable. Bad defenses, rookie head coaches that run offense, skilled players on offense. I mean, they're gonna have to score all season long.
Let's do
Both
this
of these
exercise
football
real
teams.
quick because you're saying they're very comparable. Who are you taking at quarterback, Dak or Caleb, to win a game?
Dak,
Dak. Me too. Who are you taking at offensive line? The Cowboys offensive line or the Bears offensive line?
the Cowboys.
Who are you taking at receiver? Pickens and Lamb or Rome and DJ? Because we don't know what Luther Burden is in this game. We don't know if he's
Pickens
involved
has
at
been
all.
such a disappointment to me,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Pickens
But
he's mostly just drawing attention away from
yeah, but
Lamb and
I'll
taking
still say
advantage.
because of CeeDee Lamb, I'll go with the Dallas
Taking
receivers.
Pickens and Lamb. I am too. So the Cowboys have the advantage on the offensive side, which we're saying is what's going to determine this game in every aspect. Who are you taking at running back? Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders or DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monungai?
Andrew Swift and DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre
I
Swift and
I
Kyle
think
Monungai
I think the
or
Bears
Javonte
actually.
Williams and Miles
I think the
Sanders.
Bears actually run for more yards than the Cowboys do.
Okay, so you're taking the Bears running backs over the Cowboys?
Yeah, and I think Caleb will add to the running. I think the Bears are able to run more than the Cowboys are.
Jed's telling Solar to have fun losing in the playoffs. I don't think the Cowboys make it to the play. I don't think we're looking at any playoff teams this week. I mean, listen, the Cowboys have the advantage. We just went through that in our minds. Brandon gave it to the running backs to the Bears. I'm not even doing that. I think the Cowboys are better there. Javonte Williams has looked damn good. Like he's having a resurgence there in Dallas in terms of how he's running the football. He looks good. I would rather have him right now than any of the Bears running backs, Brandon. Me personally, and I don't like saying that. Yeah, there you go, Solar. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking Javonte Williams over DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I'm still not. I mean, yeah, he's been running the
You
ball.
guys needed overtime to beat the fucking Giants, Solar. And listen, I love it. You're a fan of your team. You should support your team 100%. And I am glad you're here. But if I'm going to be realistic about my Bears, your defense is just not good enough to get you to the playoffs. As good as Dak is, again, he's a damn good quarterback that doesn't get enough respect. And as I just said, as Brandon just said, we'll take him over Caleb in terms of winning one game. That game is this Sunday. So it's going to come down to, can Ben Johnson develop a game plan that's able to take advantage of Caleb's strengths and take advantage of that Cowboys defense, which can be got. We've seen that. So that's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, and the Bears need to establish running the football.
I'll take Malik Neighbors over CeeDee Lamb too right now. I'll agree with you on that, Jed. But I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he has the potential to be the best receiver in football, the best overall. The guy does things that a lot of other receivers don't do.
I might take Malik Neighbors over anybody. Malik Neighbors is that kind of dude, man.
Yeah.
But
Shy Tex is asking a question here, Brandon. Why do you guys think Roshan hasn't been given the opportunity, at least the short yardage? He's on special teams, at least last week. Yeah, the first week he wasn't out there at all. He's had issues with the injury throughout the training camp and preseason. He was back last week. It seems like they're still looking to ease him in. I think you'd be crazy to not get him involved in the run game this week.
What it appears
personally,
to me, Tex,
I don't know why.
Ben Johnson preached competition and earning these things and being rewarded the players who earn these things. And I think he's really
Solar is very disagreeable.
I think he's
talking good about your team, dude. Jesus
I think he's
Christ.
making his personnel decisions based on trust, not on hard work. And that's something that I've already said.
What reason does he have to not trust Roshan besides the fact that Roshan hasn't been there?
Maybe he doesn't. That's what maybe he just doesn't trust.
Just hasn't seen it
behind. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't feel.
Well, Burden's in that same spot. You know, Ben's been talking about that all offseason when it comes to Burden, that he's behind. He's behind in the playbook. He's behind in terms of the reps. Like those things matter to him.
It's come off to me as a matter of trust in who he's playing on the field, more so than it has. A lot of people are saying, like, maybe that guy's not good. I don't think it's the skill of the guy that's on the bench. I think it's more the veteranship of the guy who's in the game. I think Ben's going to roll these rookies in slowly, and then I think this team's going to progress slowly. But I do think when you add Colston Loveland and Luther Burden to the mix and Kyle Monungai,
yeah, it's true.
It'll only benefit Caleb Williams. And I hope Ben understands that. He's not
Yeah,
protecting
you
Caleb
need the
Williams
play
by
action.
keeping. Yeah,
You need the play action. That's what you
you're
need.
not
And that's
protecting
where you're going to
Caleb
get the
by
tight ends
keeping the
involved.
rookies off the field.
Yeah, that's where you're going to get the tight ends involved because they'll pretend they're going to block and then they'll sneak out, and that's where Caleb can hit them on the rollout. I mean, Colston Loveland getting the ball in his hands, moving into some open space can work, and it can be special, especially against this Cowboys defense. We got to see it, and yeah, you got to establish the run in order to do the play action. And if you can't establish the run, play action will be non-existent, and Caleb will continue to struggle to run this offense. The key is the play action, Brandon. I cannot disagree with you there. That has been the key to me since they hired Ben Johnson. Get the play action going. So I mean, they're showing a somewhat commitment to the run, but it's not enough. And as you said, it's not quality enough in terms of when they're getting the first downs with the run, how they are approaching,
That hasn't really
short
proven to be
yardage
effective.
situations.
It
Exactly.
hasn't moved the chains. It hasn't gotten them into the end zone. So it's left a lot to be desired. And if you take Caleb's statistics out of it, I'm sure it's very the numbers. If you remove Caleb,
Well, a
they were the worst.
7.7 yards per carry
They
is going
were
to bring up your yards per carry
yeah,
average.
they
for
were the
sure.
worst team in the league in week 1 in running the football. They had the lowest average yards per carry. I know that it was astronomically low, and
Emphasis on the ass.
I
Yeah.
don't know that I've seen Ben Johnson's offense operate well without the ability to run the football. So like maybe we're just seeing what
What
happens
Ben
with this
Johnson's offense looks like
innovative.
without a
Yeah,
running back.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
this is the result. And I don't know who said it in the chat earlier, but like our running, you can't be good when you can't be successful when you don't have a running back. God, I hope
How
that's not the
damning,
case.
Brandon, how damning though would that be if this doesn't get going? And this week is important. This week is really important. You got to win this game if you want to even, carry any momentum at all in this season. You have to win this game. But how damning would it be on Ben Johnson if that was such a big oversight? Like, you don't get a running back in this offseason, and your offense is completely dependent upon that running game. And you convince yourself that you have the pieces here to do it, and you don't get that piece that you desperately needed, and your offense can't function without it. How big of a miss is that, Brandon? I don't know. I don't know if it's a rhetorical question, but
I would say then you asked me earlier if I felt bad about the Roma Dunze pick. I'd feel worse about the Colston Loveland pick if that's the case. If this
yeah,
offense just can't operate without a guy. I mean, like I would have hoped they would have drafted Omarion Hampton or Quinshon Chuck. Well, one of these guys who's probably a potential 3-down starter in the NFL. Because if that's the case, again, we're talking
that's
about
worth
Ben's
it to take
ability.
them.
We're talking about Ben's ability to evaluate his team and how good they might be and which areas they might succeed or fail before he drafted. Did he evaluate it well enough?
Did he evaluate the talent that he already had, and did he give it too much credit?
And
Yeah.
and I shouldn't ask that question because we know he did. He did his due diligence there. He thought that this team needed a running back. We thought Travion Henderson was going to end up on the Bears team until he got picked right before us. So I just think Ben settled on somebody he had on his board near the bottom of this draft, and I don't know that it's going to make big enough difference for him to run an offense that he needs. If that's hypothetically, if he's depending on the run game, no, these guys aren't good enough.
And let's just, man, Travion Henderson is kind of showing to be what I thought he was, which is a guy that's pretty similar to DeAndre Swift so far. And I don't know if that would have made the difference for this Bears team either. You need that.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned
guy.
Hampton and Judkins first. Yeah, that's clearly what Ben wanted. But
Shy Tech says maybe Poles gave him bad intel on the running back room they already had. Their scouting was already going, when Ben Johnson got here for sure. But like, Ben Johnson was keen enough to understand in his mind that he needed Colston Loveland at 10 to get this offense going, and he hasn't used him either. These can be pretty damning things if this shit don't turn around. I guess the question is, we ask, can Ben fix it? This is a huge game this week. We're going to see a lot from this team in terms of how they respond to that adversity that we talked about, Brandon. How is this team going to respond when shit gets bad? It don't get much worse than allowing 52 points to a division rival. It don't get much worse. Are the Bears bouncing back this week? We just went through it. The Cowboys have the advantage on the offensive side as far as we're concerned. Defensive side, it's kind of a wash. is Ben fixing this thing this week, and are the Bears going to get a win and get on the right track here? Because they got 2 more games before the bye. I think you got to get to 2-2, and these are 2 winnable games.
I'm going to say this optimistically because I think this is a must-win game for the Bears, and I'm going to say that last year, the first time I saw Caleb play a bad secondary, like just a bad secondary top, was the first time I really saw him kind of explode, man. I mean, when he played that Jacksonville team in London, when he played that Colts team towards the end of the second half of that game, throwing multiple touchdowns in both those games. I mean,
Yeah,
I think he threw 4 against the Jaguars. He exploded against that team. So, like, I think
he's
this
shown
is
he
the
can
game.
do it.
I think
Yeah,
this is the game where Caleb hits those routine or intermediate passes. I think this is where Caleb moves the chains, and I think the Bears are able to keep scoring against this football team. Their defense scares the hell out of me, man. I'll
yeah.
optimistically say that the Bears compete in this game and they win by, say, 24-21.
Oh, it's going to be much higher scoring than that, Brandon. I think I'm thinking like 30, 37-31. Eh,
Ooh,
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going back and forth on it. Like
I
as we
know. I
just
want to say my mind says I should say Cowboys. My
listen,
my heart
the
says
Bears are
my heart knows that this is the elimination game for the Chicago
the
Bears
Bears
season.
are at home. The Bears are in a position with their backs against the wall. We want to see how they respond to this adversity, and we believe that we have a coach that can help them do that. We believe that Ben Johnson is
Yeah, and what
really
Rome said
attacking the
today was,
discipline and the
yeah,
coach and the practice habits of this team this week to make an impact on Sunday. We got to believe that right now because it's really all we got. If that don't happen, we're fucked. Like this season
well,
is just going to get worse. So yeah, I'm gonna say
Roma
Bears
Dunze said
37,
something.
Cowboys 31. Bears 37, Cowboys 31. It's gonna be a high scoring game.
Roma Dunze said something that I was glad to hear, man. The players were very public last year about their coaches. I mean, to a point where I even thought it was a problem. But I know a lot of fans were real proud of their honesty. But like, it clearly got out of hand. Roma
Yeah.
Dunze said today in response to Ben saying these guys aren't practicing like a champion team. I mean, he said we believe in Ben Johnson. We trust him. If coach says we ain't practicing hard enough, then we ain't practicing hard enough. And
Yeah, he's backing them
that's
up.
that's just something last year that I
Rome
think the
is that
Bears.
type of guy though,
Yeah.
Brandon. Like
Oh, for sure.
if
Yeah.
DJ Moore ain't gonna say that same thing. But at the end of the day, man,
Justin, I think Roma Dunze is going to be a leader on this football team. I
I,
think he's
I
going to
think
be
he's
somebody
stepping
who's
into yeah.
appointed a captain at some point in his tenure,
Well,
for
but we
sure.
know that this ain't a championship caliber team. So I guess you know, practice. Can you practice at a championship caliber and not be a championship caliber team? Because is it even possible? Do you have the talent to? I guess that just comes down to work ethic and grit and determination. And can Ben Johnson get it out of these guys to get them play above their punching weight, basically? And you got to do that this week against the Cowboys. You have to. You have to. Ben Johnson has to out coach Matt Eberflus on offense versus defense, and Ben Johnson has to out coach Schottenheimer in terms of managing the game and making good decisions within the game for the Bears to win this game, in my mind. Because I think that the talent and experience on the Cowboys side gives them an advantage. It does. And I think that the home field gives the Bears an advantage, but only as long as you're riding momentum. If they get down to this
Well,
Cowboys team and Caleb is making mistakes, that crowd is going to turn on them quick and this will go bad quickly. If this turns into a blowout, one side or the other, I think it's the Cowboys kicking the Bears' ass, man, if it becomes a
yeah,
blowout.
for sure. And I think it's important to say when
I think the Bears are blowing out the Cowboys.
we're talking about, you know, Ben Johnson and the accountability and he's got to rise up to this moment and fix this, and whether or not he can get more than talent than the players have. I don't know about that, but I think it starts with, we're talking about practicing our, starts with some fucking discipline, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this team will not beat the Cowboys if they're moving backwards. It's not going to
Yeah, you're
happen.
averaging 10 penalties a game, basically, right?
Yep.
You got to cut that in half.
10 penalties, 85 yards. That's what you average per game.
You got to
Pitches.
cut that in half in this game. You have to cut that in half.
That's where
Yeah,
it starts. If you want players to
100%.
play better than their abilities, it starts with not making stupid mistakes that puts them in negative situations. So
Do
no
not
bad
bet on the
plays,
Bears. Do not bet on the Bears. I will say that. I
Yeah.
am not betting on this game at all. Sean threw out the over. The over makes sense to me in terms of, I think it was at 50. That makes sense. But do not bet on the Bears. I am not that confident. All I know is that we see an opportunity here. You're 0-2. You've lost 2 divisional games to start your season. That puts you in a really bad spot. But if you can come out in these next 2 weeks going into the bye and
Yeah.
beat a beatable Cowboys team and beat a beatable Raiders team and be 2-2 going into the bye, now you got something you can build on in that bye week, and Ben Johnson can get some more buy-in from these guys. If you don't do that, if you're 1-3 or 0-4, this is going to continue to go downhill. So it's like fucking put up or shut up time for the Chicago Bears team, guys.
Oh, for sure. They're going to be torched in the national media if they don't
Yeah,
come out.
yeah, and it'll just snowball on them, man.
John,
and Caleb,
this is kind of exactly how I feel.
must win for Bears. Sadly, they lose 38-35.
Yeah,
I like your prediction, John.
My heart tells me they win because we don't allow the season to end here and now, but I
also this is the game we picked the Bears to win.
Dallas is just a better team.
Oh, well, Brandon, we picked the Bears to win this game before the season started. It's not like we're, changing on that. I didn't pick the Bears to lose this game. Did you?
No.
When I was looking at their schedule?
No,
this is a game you have to win.
No offense
An
to
NFC
the
opponent
fans
at home, you got to win this game.
I don't want to beat it up. I don't want to make it the guys in the chat here make it seem like I'm attacking them, but you know where I stand on this Dallas team.
Oh, look at this comment from Shy Tex.
They're not a good football team.
No, they're not. John, shoot, I hope we can put up 35. That's progression at the bare minimum.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know how much progression there is at the bare minimum, but we do our best.
Check out last week's episode. It was better than this one.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It's a joke, as in we don't improve.
I got you. I'm just messing with you. My shut the fuck up.
You heard that, guys? That was me.
Was a loving shut the fuck up.
I gotta go.
Okay, see you later. I'll close it out. I'll do a draft. I'll do a mock draft for the next
2026 mock draft.
The off season is already starting in Chicago after 2 weeks. Listen, I got the Cowboys losing to the Bears. Bears put up 37. Cowboys put up 31. It's a shootout. Both these defenses suck. And the Bears find a way to win and get their fucking season back on track. But if it does turn into a blowout one way or the other, it's going to be the Cowboys beating the brakes off the Bears. Brandon, you had the Bears 24-21.
I'll give it
that's giving these defenses. That's giving these defenses too much credit, man.
I'm not going to give. I'm not going in the. I'll give it.
30-27. The Bears are allowing 40 fucking points a game. Cowboys allowing 30. So it's a smart bet to pick the over. Sean's right about that. So we're both picking the Bears to win, as much as we both feel like the Cowboys are a better team right now.
John says, "I'll stay from who can we get at 3?"
Oh man,
Jared verse
a redraft. John S would love the mock draft in week 3. Headlines or deadlines for us, Brandon? Let's do it.
We'll do these quick.
We'll see about that.
Headline or deadline. The Colts are a good football team.
That's a headline, man. I was texting you last week. The Colts are going to win that division. I picked the Titans to win that division because I love Cam Ward, and I could not pick the Texans because that offensive line is so bad, and CJ Stroud just continues to regress. They make shit really hard on him in that offense for some reason. I just could not pick the Texans, so I went with the Titans because I thought that would be a fun pick, and I'm rooting for Cam Ward. But the Colts look like the best team in that division, and it's not even close. They look well coached. They look prepared. Tyler Warren's been a stud. Daniel Jones has been smart with the football. They are putting up points. They put up points on a Denver defense that is really good last week, man. That Colts team is for real. We were low on Steichen, but it looks like we were wrong at this point, Brandon. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're a good football team. I think because
They're the
they're
best team in the South.
yeah, they are in a division which they'll be able to stack some wins. So
Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line have been kicking people's ass. Jonathan Taylor looks like one of the best running backs in the league again. Good for him, man. I kind of missed
when
that
they
in fantasy this year. I should have seen that shit coming. That
well,
offensive line is still good.
and when Shane Steichen uses anybody other than Anthony Richardson, this team at least competed over the last couple of seasons when Flacco was
Yeah,
there. When
Flacco
Gardner
even last
Minshew,
year.
Gardner
Yeah. Gardner
Minshew
Minshew almost got
took
into the
them. Yeah,
playoffs.
so I mean, as long as Anthony Richardson never touches that field again, they'll hang around.
Anthony Richardson will have a very good rap career.
No, he won't.
No,
He'll
he won't.
fumble it.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Headline or deadline? Packers are the best team in the NFC.
I'm going to say deadline on that. I did pick the Packers to go to the NFC Championship game. I think the Packers are a very good team. I think they're going to have some issues. They'll have some ups and downs because Jordan Love's going to have some ups and downs, and they don't. And now Jaden Reed is out for a pretty good amount of time with that collarbone issue. So hopefully Matthew Golden steps up. He's on my fantasy fucking football team, and he's done jack shit. Brandon, Jack, your guy has done nothing for me. But that Packers defense is a lot better than people expected.
Well, hey, you talk
They're
about
as
Jordan
good as
Love.
I.
He missed them deep on
Yeah, no,
a touchdown.
that was it right there, man. That sucked. But no, listen, they're top three for sure. I'm not going to put them over the Eagles right now because the Eagles are the defending champions and they just continue to find ways to win games, and that's what good teams do. You might be looking at a Chiefs type team in this Eagles team that just muddies up the game and makes it work and finds a way to win because you can't stop the tush push and you can't stop Saquon. So I mean, and that Eagles defense is just going to get better. So they're definitely behind the Eagles. So at least, so it's a deadline. I'm trying to think of another team in the NFC that I could put the Lions over the Packers potentially. I know the Packers beat the Lions at home, but we'll see how that goes the next time they meet. I'm not writing off that Lions team just yet either. So. And I like the Niners. The Niners found a way to get it done with Mac Jones, and they're dealing with so many injuries. If the Niners can get healthy by the middle of the season and they tread water right now, it's an interesting team. And the Seahawks, I like the Seahawks too, but the Packers are clearly better than both of those teams. So yeah, maybe they're second or third right now to me, Brandon. Where you got?
I'm going to call it a headline, man.
Really? Over the Eagles?
Yeah, because with the addition of Micah Parsons,
exactly, Jed,
and he's been incredible, just incredible as he was in Dallas at Green Bay. He already has, and I think some of these players were just good, obviously initially, but he has multiplied. I think that all the players on this defense look substantially better than I thought they like. Even their secondary looks better.
Rashawn Gary has been a
Rashawn Gary,
stud
Edgerrin
with Micah
Cooper
Parsons on the
looks
other
really
side.
good.
Yeah,
Van
that
Ness,
secondary looks a lot
Van
better.
Ness looks like he's going to start being an impact.
It's
player.
exactly what we
But
said it would be, Brandon. With Michael, you add Micah Parsons, that changes your fucking defense immediately.
And on the other side of the field, and their corners have stepped up, man, guys we weren't too familiar with. And on the other side, Jordan Love's now got 9 games in a row without an interception.
Yeah,
the fourth longest streak in Packers franchise history.
I think eventually he'll have a slump but he does a good job of not letting those get to him. I can see the Packers winning 10, 11 games and really making noise in the playoffs because they can beat anybody on any week with the way that they're playing and the way that they can play. Leaning on Josh Jacobs and making big plays when they need to. And Tucker Kraft has been a fucking revelation. I love that kid. So I mean, like, there's a lot of good talent on that Packers team. And how's Bears fans? How's Micah's back looking right now to you? Look like a problem? Is everything okay? You traded for one of the best defenders in the NFL for fucking dirt cheap nothing.
And that's what you got.
Yep, you got one of the best defenders in the NFL.
I'm going to call that headline. All right. 3 of the 5 finalists in the MVP race will consist of Justin Herbert,
yes,
Baker Mayfield,
maybe,
and Jordan Love.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, you're talking about 3 guys that have the potential to be in that conversation because we believe their teams will be successful. and it's going to hinge a lot on them. Baker is just a stud who makes plays.
And they throw touchdowns. These
That
guys throw
run he
touchdowns.
made on fourth down to keep them in that game and eventually lead to them winning that game was just fucking spectacular. Baker just does whatever it takes to win the game. I don't, and he'll have the stats too, especially once Godwin comes back. Herbert is the guy I picked to win MVP. I believe that Chargers team is going to have the most wins in football this year. I said that before the season started on our Pick'em show. I think Herbert is the guy. Jordan Love, 100%. If that Packers team continues to dominate the way they are and he can put up 2 touchdowns and 250 yards a game, yeah, he should certainly be in that conversation. I can say that that's a headline pretty decently confidently, especially right now after how this season has started. What up, Lefty?
Yeah, the other two that I think Lamar and Josh Allen will both be in the conversation as well, obviously. But yeah, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, and Baker Mayfield right now, I think are leading the race. Obviously, Lamar
Well,
and
no, it's
Josh Allen.
Lamar and Josh Allen
No,
are
I
your
mean, and
odds-on favorites.
those other
Yeah.
guys, the three, because it's 5 finalists. The three other spots, I think, will be right now. Those guys are to me, if you ask me,
How,
those are the other three
how do we
guys.
think Lefty's feeling about Carson Wentz starting for his team this week against? Oh yeah.
How anyone would probably feel about that? How many teams, fan bases in the NFL have felt about that at one point or another, man? Probably
Yeah,
not
true,
very.
Pilgrim. Me and Brandon have been telling a lot of Bears fans that Jordan Love is a lot better than he's given credit for because there's a bias there against the Packers as a Bears fan, and I guess that's understandable. But you got to acknowledge that the kid's got a fucking howitzer for an arm, and he does not let mistakes impact him. That's what impressed me the most about Jordan Love. The first season he played was he was making mistakes, but he just came right back out there and kept slinging it. The kid's tough for sure, but he will throw up some balls there that can cost his team the game. So it's a double edged sword with Jordan Love. Lefty doesn't care. Very good. Yep.
Headline or deadline? Cole Kmet or DJ Moore will be traded at the deadline.
I mean, I'm just gonna say deadline, man. I don't see the Bears making a move like that. I don't see Ryan Poles being that guy that gives DJ Moore that contract and
What if there's
moves
a
on from him.
defender available that's worth having on your team?
Who are you? I mean, do you have anyone in mind, or are you just throwing that out there
Well,
as
a
a
name that you hear a
hypothetical?
lot is like Kayvon Thibodeau.
I would do that in a fucking second, Brandon. I wouldn't think twice about that. That would be amazing. But I don't see it happening. I'll say deadline. I don't think the Bears are moving on from DJ Moore this year. I think you're going to see DJ Moore get more involved in this offense. I think they got to utilize him a little better, and I think they got to, design him open. Right? I think if you put DJ Moore in the slot, you can get some pretty solid results from that. And I think you need that leader on this team still. But again, if second round pick or Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. I am.
Yeah, I'd call it a deadline as well. I know what you're going to say this next one. Headline or deadline, the Chiefs won't even finish second in the AFC West.
Well, I picked them to finish third in the AFC West. So yeah, that's a headline to me. I told y'all they were going to go 0-2 to start the season. The Chargers and the Eagles to start your season, that's tough, man. And the Chiefs have some major issues in terms of Pacheco might just be what you said he is, Brandon, just a guy. They can't establish the run. They might need to start leaning on Kareem Hunt a lot more. They have no explosive
And for sure,
playmaking in that
Smith should
receiving
be on
core.
the field. Man.
Yeah, for sure. But he's not a guy that's going to carry your offense in terms of the running game. He's a gadget player. He's a guy that you want to get involved in, the passing game more so. Maybe you could do that. But when your season starts out with your elite tight end taking out your elite receiver and giving him a dislocated shoulder in like the first drive of your offense in the NFL that season, that's usually a sign of bad things to come. And you don't have Rice out there right now. The Chiefs are kind of in a world of hurt. Pat
Yeah,
Mahomes
speaking
Pat
of which,
Mahomes makes things happen, so we'll see. But yeah, they're definitely they're not finishing atop the AFC West this year. It's not happening.
man, after the loss to that Colts team, the Broncos team, I don't know. I'll say headline. They'll finish third.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to
And
figure it out.
my
We went through Bo Nix's stats; those are going to get better, man. And this Broncos defense is better than what they've shown so far, I think, as well. Personally,
my free agent ad of the week in your fantasy leagues, guys. Rice is going to be suspended for some time, and Worthy's dealing with that dislocated elbow or whatever that is he's got going on. Jalen Royals will probably play some football this week.
well, that's another guy like a what do you got to lose guy. I liked Royals in college, man. So I mean, that
And he
could make some
exploded
sense.
in their training camp, is what I was reading. So,
Yeah,
headline or deadline. I know that I'm probably getting a little too high on this kid, man, but I just watch him play, and he's different. Andrew Makuba will win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
that's a deadline. I mean, there's just, I mean, I think Jihad Campbell is the guy that I actually bet on to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a guy that's in a much better situation to stand out, on the film and in
Unless Makuba
games.
keeps taking the ball away.
No, for sure. I love Makuba, man, but I just don't see the safety on that team winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then Abdul Carter has been really yet to have been heard from, and he's a damn good player. And Travis Hunter might start getting more opportunity on defense too with that Jaguars team. There's some other options out there that I think are more high profile. I love Makuba, but
Yeah, Jalen Walker
I
was
think
my
Jihad
Jalen
Campbell
Walker.
is their candidate on that same team.
Jalen Walker in Atlanta was my pick. He doesn't have
And
the size.
Pierce is standing out really well in Atlanta as well.
Yeah, that was a player I liked.
Dude, the Falcons, I said it, I wrote about it when that first round happened. Taking Pierce and Walker, that's exactly what that team needed. It really is. And then you throw in that you drafted Watts in the third round. Shit, they improved the defense for a defensive head coach. They needed that badly. I like what the Falcons did in that draft.
Yeah,
that's a team that knew what they needed and went and got it.
And they drafted 3 players that I really liked in the draft as
well.
well.
Man. Yeah.
All right. Headline or deadline. Mike McDaniel will be terminated mid-season.
Headline. Yep, and he'll be doing lines. He probably already is. What are we talking about? The guy is such a fucking goof. I mean, listen, I loved him as the running game coordinator for the Niners, and he was a fun dude, and he was quirky. But it's like that scene in Step Brothers where they fart in the interview, and Seth Rogen's like, now that I think about it, the suits are kind of fucking weird. Yeah, that's Mike McDaniel. When you look back, it's now that you see the stink of this team, you're like, now that I think about it, everything you've been doing is kind of fucking weird, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, how confident you can feel in a coach when they're winning versus the thing. They could say the exact same thing after a 3-game skid, and you're like, this guy's such an idiot. And it's something he said a year ago, and you're like, man, this guy knows this stuff. You know what I mean? Just the amount of confidence
he's lost that team
drops. Yeah,
he had lost that team in the offseason. We already knew that. We were talking about that.
And I read an article that said he tried to shift the culture for that Miami team and it backfired. And so I don't know. I didn't get too deep into it.
I mean, he's not a culture shifter.
Basically, that he's being looked at by this fan base as somebody who's.
They're already talking about Anthony Weaver taking over as the interim head coach.
Just too weak to be at that position. I think he is.
Yeah, he is. He's got no spine, man. He's a coordinator. He's not a coach.
I think a team will be fortunate to land him as an OC next season.
Fuck yeah. I mean, listen, his offense took the league by storm that first year. They went to the playoffs. But when you needed to be in be a playoff team, you couldn't do that. It was cold in Kansas City, and they got their fucking asses handed to them because there's only one way that the Dolphins can play. That creates a problem for you in the playoffs when you got to go on the road to places that aren't Miami, And McDaniel is just not a guy that's going to set that type of tone for a team. He's not.
No, and I'm with you. I'm going to say headline. And
Shorty, what up, dude?
I like McDaniel, but he's not a head coach. He's not. What's going on, Shorty?
That was a great metaphor I just made, by the way. I just want to make sure that that's said out loud. Should have been said by you.
Okay, I'll work on reading your mind. Write a few for me before the show starts. All right, headline or deadline.
Off the dome.
Spencer Rattler will play well enough to retain the Saints' starting job next
season. Headline. I like Spencer Rattler. I think the Saints are still going to be looking for a quarterback probably, but I liked Spencer Rattler in last year's draft. I thought he was a better quarterback than McCarthy, 100%. Um, I thought he was a better quarterback than Drake May. It looks like I'm pretty wrong about that. But Rattler has arm talent. Rattler has moxie. Rattler has confidence. Rattler's another guy. Like I was talking about with Jordan Love, man, he does not get discouraged by the mistakes. He goes back out there and keeps fucking slinging it.
Well, what I watched in the
I
preseason, man,
love what he puts on
some
the field, man.
something you said about Baker Mayfield is something that I see in Spencer Rattler. He does not want to lose. That
Mm-hmm.
kid will do whatever the hell is required of him to try to win a football game, and he is
Unfortunately for him,
desperately trying to do so, man.
he's on the New Orleans Saints, so he's going to
Yeah,
lose a lot, but
yeah.
and he's not going to like it a lot. But
He's doing his damnedest, man, to
yeah, for
try to
sure,
scoop
dude.
out some wins.
He threw that pass against the Cardinals to win the fucking game, and
And he did that in the preseason.
dude just dropped it. Dude just dropped it. Like that. I like Spencer Rattler a lot, and I think that the Saints might actually have their quarterback already. I was saying that last year too.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a headline. I
Yeah, we're working
suggested.
on it, Shorty.
Oh,
It takes time. It's only been a little over a year we've been doing this show. We're trying to get better week after week, Shorty. We're working on it. It does take
yeah.
time.
Don't have to be so critical.
Yeah, thanks for the encouraging words.
Um, yeah, and I think my brother asked me in the text thread earlier today, who's the quarterback I can pick up in the loss of Joe Burrow. I think Spencer Rattler is going to be a guy who throws
Well, no,
touchdowns.
he asked specifically about 3 players, and then you threw out Spencer Rattler.
Oh
He
yeah, I
wasn't
didn't
one of the
like any
players.
of those players. I think he's a guy that can win some football. No, not win some. I think he's a guy that throw touchdowns, and I think he's a guy that can move the chains, and I think he'll run as well, and he's been doing that. I like Spencer Rattler. I agree with you. I
I
think
loved him in last year's draft. Yeah,
he could be the Saints quarterback, and I think the whole time Shuck was drafted,
I never had
I
a
was
thought in
like,
my head that he
Rattler's the
would beat
starting.
Rattler for
Yeah,
that job.
yeah,
Yeah,
Rattler's
never
the
once.
starting quarterback. Yeah.
You
Um,
draft a fucking 30-year-old quarterback to
yeah.
take Spencer
I
Rattler's
I
place.
probably would have started Rattler over Carr if he didn't retire. To be honest with you, but
Mhm.
all right, headline or deadline. Dennis Allen will be terminated at the end of this season.
Wow, that's a deadline, man. I think once you start the season with such injury issues, and then your best defensive player goes down for what might be the year, like you're already given some grace. And you've mentioned it over and over again, Brandon. These aren't the players that he needs to run his defense. I think the team knew that when he was brought on. I think he knew that when he was brought on. That's why you saw specific players being drafted defensively, and Turner and Hippolyte, and I guess even a Frazier to an extent, where they're trying to, bring in an influx of talent that matches his scheme, because it's a very different thing to run a cover 2 shell thing that Flus ran with just the versus the more man concepts that Dennis Allen is going to run, and the defensive line needs to have a certain shape to it. So I mean, like, I don't think that they hired him thinking like this was a finished product for him to just take over and kick ass with. Do you?
No, and I think Dennis Allen kind of told us that. I think we were all blind to see it. I think when he started moving guys around and saying this guy could play this position, when he told you maybe Edwards is our middle linebacker, I don't know. Like it was clear to me that nobody was definitively good enough to be in the position they were in. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? He started to like see other ways guys could maybe be stronger because they're not doing something well enough to begin with. That's the perception I had when he was talking about. I want to see him move over here and him try that for a little bit because it's like, yeah, I don't think Dennis Allen is seeing what he wants to see out of some of these guys during training
Turner
camp.
was a good pick. Whatever injury he has is not the issue. That's what Shorty says, and True
I'm
Pilgrim
excited for.
agrees with me.
I said that earlier today on this
Yeah,
show.
well, I
Short,
want to see
I
Turner.
I
I
like the
want to.
pick. I
I
still
want to
think
see
he's going to be.
Turner. I want to see Turner over Garrett right now, or Jarrett right now. To be honest, man. And Shorty's telling me to relax. That it's only been 2 games. Did I say? I mean, the defense has not looked good, but Dennis
But
Allen.
I
I'm
think,
saying Dennis Allen is getting grace. This is going to take some time. I totally
yeah,
understand.
we heard about Turner in his first practice in rookie mini camps that he was playing too far past the whistle. He was a little too aggressive, and they
I
were doing
like
this
that.
without pads. That's a guy I want on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, without a doubt, that's a player we should be watching right now, because we're talking about how this team's lacking energy and focus, and they're not practicing the way championship team. Well, guys like that, put on the field, man.
It'd be nice to see Poles draft a defensive tackle that actually is good. It'd be
It'd be nice.
I'm waiting for
Be nice
Dexter
to
to
see.
show me what I think he
Be,
has. I'm waiting for Turner to get on the field and show me some shit.
be nice for one of these day 1, day 2 picks to be an impactful player in their
Yeah,
rookie
no,
seasons,
it's
man.
you got to get him on the field. We've been saying that this whole show, man. Like if you're not playing the guy, I can't judge him obviously in terms of if he's good or not. Like get him on the field, let him compete. I want to see Turner on the field. You need some influx of youth and that aggression and that just want to go get it and let them make some fucking mistakes. You need that influx into your defense and your offense, and you have it with these rookies just sitting there and you're not fucking using them. You got to use them.
Yeah, and I don't know where the communication's failing here, Dustin. But the one thing Dennis Allen, I mean, he might not have his players. It might be a year or two before he gets the defense in place that he wants. They might retain him. I'll say deadline. They don't fire him this at the end of this
No,
season.
definitely not.
But I will say this, man. Either he is being ignored by Ben Johnson, or he's not helping. Ben Johnson is failing in a lot of ways that a new head coach would, and he's got a guy on his staff that
Who's been
did
through
this.
this? Yeah,
So, like, something's
and
awry
Ben's
there.
said all offseason that he leans on him. I mean, but
Yeah.
at the same time, Dennis Allen was not a very good head coach, so maybe that's the problem.
No, but you think he'd know a little more about the time management, the game management in general. To me, has been a problem. I don't think it's been very good.
Yeah, and what sucks is that we spent all offseason talking about what an all-star cast of coaching and support Ben Johnson put around himself, and it looks like that's failing him already. That needs to
But
get
then you
better.
hear that they told him not to challenge that play against
And he did it
Minnesota.
anyways.
Yeah, so you don't know where the communication fails on whose end.
Shorty, we
My
agree. The defense is awful. Yes, obviously the number one issue that the Bears need to address, and I don't know that they're doing it this Sunday
no, and
against the Cowboys.
I think only health will make that improve in any way, shape, or
Mhm.
form. We got one more, man. I had to put this in here. The Fighting Illini will make the college football playoffs.
I mean, I see that as a very real possibility. I mean, I haven't looked at their schedule to see like exactly
Play
where those.
Indiana Saturday, which is a
Yeah.
ranked team. I think they're 23rd or something, and they play Ohio State. That's it.
So
Everybody else,
losing to Ohio State doesn't necessarily knock you out of it
no,
if you don't
definitely
have
not.
any other losses because Ohio State's a really good fucking team. But if you beat them, you can definitely put yourself in there. I mean, I I'll just say deadline because it's Illinois and it just doesn't make sense. But
I'm gonna say headline.
Altmaier is a good quarterback, man. They got a good defense. I like a lot of pieces on that team.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yakus, that kid's a good pass rusher.
Yeah, man. So like, can they do it? Yes, 100%. But like, and the fact that you have so many teams now that get in makes that a little easier. So I guess headline makes sense, but I'm just gonna say deadline because I'll have to believe it to see it that an Illini football team gets into the college football playoff.
I'm gonna say headline. I'm gonna say because I think the Big Ten is one of the better conferences in college football, and I think 2 teams out of 12. I think at least 2 teams will come.
Shorty is saucy tonight. I'm sorry, Brandon, but you notice how saucy Shorty is tonight?
To even talk about Ben, yeah, it's sick.
Oh yeah, we did that. We did that earlier.
I think Shorty, when you're watching a team play as bad as the Bears have, I think you need to improve everywhere. I don't think that's in question. I mean, they've the offensive line has probably lost them about 120 yards so far this season. So I mean, there's a lot of things they need to improve.
100%.
These guys are moving before the snap.
I think the offense gets right this weekend against a really bad Cowboys defense.
The pass interference calls and the false starts gotta stop, dude. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop.
Yeah, the refs got to stop calling bullshit holding calls.
You can't move the chains
exist.
when you're moving backwards. It just doesn't work. Oh,
All
That
right,
was
so
it,
I
Dustin.
went
Yep.
deadline on Illinois.
I'm
Illinois.
saying
You went
headline because I
headline.
think 2 teams from the Big Ten make it to the college football playoff.
Yeah, the Big Ten's good though. So there's other. There's. I mean, you got multiple good teams in that
Indiana
Big
would be
Ten.
the other team that everyone else kind of sucks.
Penn State sucks.
Penn State's offense is just.
I didn't say salty, Shorty. I said saucy. You got a little fire to you. That's all I'm saying. Not salty. That's not what I said.
Well, that's it on the headlines, deadlines, and you bet your ass is I think how we'll finish this show. And I only got
Yeah,
one
let's
bet,
do it.
so yeah.
Yeah, we each got one bet, man. I got one that I already placed. You bet your ass means if you bet it, you'll probably lose your ass. That's the way we do it on the bare minimum. Go ahead with yours, man.
I took anytime touchdown for Derrick Henry. I took an anytime touchdown for it's another running back. James Cook. I missed out because you
I
had it.
had James Cook tonight on
I got.
anytime
I gotta look at
touchdown.
my phone, which is what I'm using here.
Okay,
Okay.
well then
Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson
I
to
like that.
anytime touchdown. Um, Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. Baker Mayfield over a touchdown and a half. And then take Dak's yards, man. 260 on the Bears team.
Yeah, that's
I'll
pretty
give him like
doable.
I'll give him like 315 in this game, man. I mean, this guy can air it out. I put $7 guys on it, or sorry,
$9, you said. Yeah.
$9. I put $9 on it. $9 wins you $55. Oh, and by the way,
La-
both those running backs are playing teams that they can absolutely score against.
I mean, I'm hoping so. I got Bijan Robinson in my fantasy team. I could use a couple scores from him just to
He's
kind of
playing the 16th best rush
salt it
defense in
away.
the league.
Listen, I'll preface what I'm about to say with the fact that last week I won a 6-leg parlay on money line, hit it with the Chargers winning on Monday night. I'll read it. I had the Bengals money line, the Niners money line, the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Chargers at plus 638. That was one I sweated out, man. The Cowboys and the fucking Bengals and even the Niners, that was a little rough, but ended up hitting it. So I'm doing another one this week, another 6-leg money line parlay, and this one's odds are much better, plus 1677. I got the New England Patriots money line at home against the Steelers. I'm feeling a little iffy about that one, but the Steelers defense is not looking as good as I expected it to, Brandon. Atlanta Falcons money line at the Panthers. I got the Eagles money line hosting the Rams. The Packers at the Browns. This is my special one here. The Titans over the Colts at home. I got them on the money line. And then I got Seattle Seahawks hosting the Saints. Again, that is plus 1677. I'm taking a chance on this one. But I hit a 6-leg one last week. Now the odds are much higher this week. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. A 6-leg money line.
Money lines, yeah. Hey, those are easy to bet, man. It's the laziest you can be about betting football and about
I didn't
parlays.
feel lazy last week watching those games, man, but I somehow managed to pull it out. Hopefully, we pull another one out this week. That's what I got, man.
I think that pretty much wraps it up, man. I do.
All right, Shorty. I'm sorry for calling you saucy. Okay, I thought it was a compliment. My apologies. We're happy you joined us, Shorty.
He
It's
meant
good to see
sauced
you.
up.
Oh, did I mean that? I mean, maybe a couple beers, yeah.
Steelers should have kept Russell and Pickens.
I mean,
Steelers will be just as good as they were with Russell and Pickens. With
Aaron Rodgers is not looking that good, man. That defense is not looking good. I'm concerned. That team has a lot of talent. I think they'll probably turn it around, but I like the Patriots. I think the Patriots can pull off the win this week at home. So yeah, just something to think about.
Dustin, as always,
Brandon,
appreciate you, True Pilgrim, Shorty. We had a bunch of new people, Lefty Lowe's.
yeah,
Thanks for
Solar
joining
was
us.
in here.
Jedediah, John S, Chitex. Yeah, there was some.
Solar, the Cowboys fan. We had another Cowboys fan in
Solar.
here. His name was ridiculous. It was like, I like the Cowboys, I like the Lakers, I like the Yankees. Like,
Melon
get
Smasher. Yeah, there was a lot of words.
Vizzo Joe as well, and then we had this guy here,
No
No,
man,
no
so may.
manami, no
No man,
manami,
so my. Yeah.
no
Oh,
manami.
we appreciate you guys. Thanks for
Yeah,
hanging out
man,
with us.
been a
Thanks for
lot of
anybody who's
fun.
going to watch this in the future. Dustin, always a pleasure.
Don't
And
forget
as
Saturday, Northside 9 playoff edition. Sean and Kyle will be here Saturday afternoon. Monday, the House Hall Hangover. We'll see how we do with that. Because it'll really depend on how the Bears game goes, how we all treat each other. So we'll see how that goes. And then Wednesday, the Barely There, and me and Brandon are always here on Thursdays for the bare minimum, unless one of us isn't. Shit happens. Life happens, guys. But this has been a lot of fun, Brandon.
it was indeed, as always.
We just
Until
talked a
next
bunch.
time.
We just talked 2.5 hours about football, and we never even played professional football. Can you believe that shit? Good job, dude.
I find most of those guys to be pretty stupid, anyways. It has been a pleasure as always, Dustin. And on that note,
Bear
bear
down.
down, guys. Have a good night. We appreciate